For those of you who want to spread some Christmas cheer, ladies and gentlemen, we want to let you know that Atlanta Sports is partnering with Residing Hope. Hopefully I got that name right.
Yep, you did.
Residing Hope of Florida, a children's home, providing a home and stability for all the kids in need who unfortunately did not have the parents in their lives. They do a great job, a lot of educational stuff to help the kids progress, a lot of fun activities to keep the kids active and enjoying themselves. And they have plenty of other partners that, provide for them and help those kids have the best experience possible throughout the rough time. But you ask the kids and they wouldn't even know it. They're having the time of their lives over there. So that's why we decided that Residing Hope was the pick for us. And we have a Christmas donation drive going on right now. You can go to our Instagram page at atleta.sports to check out the details. But it's very simple. Just buy a gift. Donate. We have an Amazon wish list, and the link is in our bio on Instagram. And there's plenty of stuff to choose from. There's some necessities on there, like hygiene stuff. There's just stuff from entertainment, like games, card games, sports games. Like there's basketballs on there, footballs. There's a variety of different things on there. So you guys can feel free to donate. Now, donate the most you can, because guess what? Atlanta Sports is getting together and going to sponsor 2 tickets to the Orlando Magic game versus the Charlotte Hornets in February. So if you guys want to win a chance to go to that game, all you got to do is donate some gifts. There's gifts of all prices, $5, $8, $10, $11. There's cheap stuff on there that you can afford. There is nicer stuff on there that if you want to do something nice for the kids, feel free to do so. The more gifts you buy, the more raffle tickets you get. And it's going to be a random draw. We're going to pick a winner, and that winner is going to get 2 tickets to the Orlando Magic versus Charlotte Hornets game on February 12th. So tap in with us. If you have any questions, if you're watching this on our YouTube page, feel free to leave a comment. We'll get to you. We'll answer whatever questions you have. The link is going to be on this episode of Hoop Talk. You're going to see it down in the bio or in description, and you're going to see it on all our episodes for the rest of the year until it's time. The deadline is December 14th. The children of Residing Hope would love to have your support, would love to have your donations, and Atlanta Sports would love to send you to the Orlando Magic game. So if you want to be a part of that, you got to donate. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It's Hoop Talk, the podcast. This is episode 5. We want to start off by saying we're sorry for not having an episode last week. A couple of health issues here and there. Tried to bounce back, but couldn't make it work. But we're here.
This bum was in the hospital.
Which bum? What the hell? This bum was in the hospital, all right? But we're back. This episode is gonna be coming out on Thursday. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope you guys enjoy your time with your family. Make sure you tune into the podcast on time. Don't worry about eating, man. Put the plate aside. It's going to be about 6 p.m. when this episode comes out, man. So you all had enough food at this point.
Yeah, you should have been done eating by now.
Yeah,
you guys
should be on desserts.
6. I'm disgusted.
It's time to get the party started at this point. What better way to start a party than with Hoop Talk, the podcast?
There we go.
I can name... Never mind.
Oh, God. We're over here trying to promote the podcast. This man's trying to tell people to do something else.
Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, we got an
Shout
NBA
out
game. We got an NBA game going on in the background. Got the Miami Heat versus the Milwaukee Bucks. We got a lot of basketball talk today. So where do you guys want to get started? Somebody pick a topic. What's going to be our thing for today?
Let's talk this real quick. I got Unrivaled tickets.
Okay, go ahead.
Which I think is pretty cool.
My man just trying to mess up my whole order. Now I gotta recalibrate in my head.
You told me I could talk about whatever. Bro.
For those of you who don't
give
know,
me that type of
we have
power.
notes for our podcast, and he just picked the bottom thing on the list.
Let's get this out of the way.
But yeah, let's get it out the way. Unrivaled. Let's talk about Unrivaled first. You tell us about it, because I know.
On November 20th, Unrivaled did a draft, and how Unrivaled works, it's a 3-on-3 of invited WNBA players. There's like Breonna Stewart, there's Nafisa Collier, Arike Angabali.
Is Lexi Brown playing?
Yeah, Lexi Brown, Jackie Young, I believe, is playing.
Yes,
Brittany Griner, like a lot of names. Kelsey Plum, I can keep going. But they were pretty much split up into 6 different pods with the 6 different coaches, and then they would go through each pod one at a time, and they would draft them. So like one pod, for example, had Nafisa, it had Breonna Stewart, it had Satu Sabali, and I forget exactly who, but they were like the cornerstone forwards. Mm-hmm. And then what would happen is the coaches blindly would draft teams, not knowing whose team they were drafting. they would find out afterwards whose team was whose. They would get assigned it. So, like, Phil Handy, for example, from the Lakers, probably got the best team in the draft. He got the
Shout
team
out
with
to
Breonna
Phil.
Stewart.
Ex-Lakers
Yeah,
coach.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Putting that
assistant
out there?
coach. Should have maybe had an opportunity at the head coach, but who knows?
No.
No, he was great. He was great.
He's got a lot of time. He's got to give to the organization of the NBA still a little bit more.
But he got a really good team. He got like Breonna Stewart, and I forget exactly who else. He got like Dejounte Carrington and a few other people. So his squad is like stacked. And they released tickets the day right after, and your boy got 2 tickets.
Shout out to him.
And by getting those 2 tickets, I'm able to see all 6 teams. So me and my girlfriend in February and in March will be in Miami
That's dope.
watching
I'm
Unrivaled.
gonna try and catch a game. I know we talked about potentially maybe pulling it up together if we could. But I'm assuming, did all tickets sell out or just for a period of time?
All of them, but
Oh.
they're up for resale again.
Those things are going to be amazing.
Someone was selling them for
goes good-
$800.
Yeah, if it goes good for them, those tickets are going to go skyrocketing.
Well, that's why if you buy it earlier, you have a higher opportunity. Because buying one ticket, it's $45 base price. Maybe
Wow.
they sell it for like $60.
Okay.
You get 2 games.
And how
with
close
the one
are you?
ticket? I mean, it's 800 seats. You got to be close. I got courtside for $45.
That's fire. That's fire, bro. You ended up with a dub with that one.
Hell
We should
yeah.
have really got our
And I got
tickets.
to see the first game we get to see is the Laces team, which I think is going to be the best team.
Laces.
Yeah, Laces. So it's Laces, Mist, Lunar Owls, Vinyl,
They had to go in their bag. For
and
these
I
games.
forget what the other 2 are. Unfortunately, Phantoms, and then there's one other one.
Gotcha. I got you.
Bro, it's exciting.
Excuse my coughing, ladies and gentlemen. It might happen a couple times throughout this podcast.
COVID, ultra COVID over here.
I do not, but
I'm trying not to get sick. I'm the only one who hasn't got sick yet. I'm praying that I don't get sick.
that's not true. We stopped the podcast once because you got sick.
Yeah.
Not this. No, I'm gonna get personal. That was my toe. That was fucked up. I was
No, you
Earlier
got
in the
sick
year.
one time. You got sick one time
Like in
when
the
we had to
summer.
reschedule a podcast. Listen, we're not about to let this man
pull the tape.
lie his way into everybody's hearts. Like, no, he is not a healthy person.
Healthy.
He's been sick. He's got a dysfunctional toe. Let's just put that out there.
Since you've met me.
But yeah, all jokes aside, though, yeah, I want to catch a Unrivaled game for sure. I don't know how it's going to work. If the resale tickets are too expensive, then I'm probably not going to make that happen. But I would love to for sure. I want to catch a Duke game, like slightly off topic, but I want to catch.
Isn't Miami in their
Duke game.
conference? Right?
Who?
Miami's in their conference, right? Duke and Miami are on the same conference?
They are, yes, they are in the same.
Oh,
yes. Sorry,
Now we have a reason to go to Miami, Nas.
We might have 2 reasons.
Yeah, they play
Yeah.
Miami in February. Actually, February something.
I like that.
If
Yeah.
they play around February 7th, I'll be in Miami.
Yeah, we talked about it. We were saying.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we did.
Yeah, we
What
talked
about
about it in the
UCF?
group chat, but they don't. No, they don't play UCF. They play Miami, and I don't think the other Florida teams in their conference anymore.
No, I was asking, would you guys be down to go to UCF game? They're like dirt cheap. It's like $8 tickets.
We're going to see Mikey
Oh
Williams.
yeah, it depends on who they play. Yeah,
doesn't
but I'd be
play.
down.
I know, which is weird.
No, he's not that good. But we'll do
Oh, he
it
doesn't
later.
get burned.
No, he doesn't get
What
any
is
What
Surprise.
happened to him?
I mean, bro, it's like the nature of the business. Like these guys sometimes are like celebrities, and once I feel like that little thing has run out, and you're not like an uber talent. You're kind of like more of a mascot on the bench. I feel like for players like that, Dior's playing a little bit more than him. I think I'm pretty sure, but other than that, those 2 players don't get to play a lot.
Michael Williams was on Angel Reese's podcast flirting with her.
Yeah, he's probably got to prove himself a
Disrespectful.
little more after all the things that he went through and whatnot.
For sure.
But he's supposed to be. He should be good enough to play. So it's
Especially
I
at
guess,
UCF.
I think their starting point guard's like really fucking good this year, though. Like he's really, really good.
yeah, that is possible. But
I
I
always
guess,
thought Mikey was a 2.
I guess we'll see if they play anybody interested. I would be interested in potentially trying that out.
You have to check it out.
Somebody look it up. What conference are they in? Who do they play?
They're in the Sun Belt, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it has to be a decent conference because they made it to a tournament one year, so they had to have some decent competition there.
They're in the
talking
Big
ball.
12, actually. They're in the Big 12. That's crazy. I didn't know
Who's
that.
in the Big 12?
That's football.
No, the conferences are going to be seen.
Yeah,
all the
conferences will
sports
be the
across
same.
the.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
sports would be the same.
Did not know that.
Yeah, if you move conferences, you move your entire sports to that conference.
Ooh.
That's why it's a big deal every time it happens.
But not to get too distracted, because us waiting for this information is killing the podcast already. But since we're on the topic of women's basketball, Tyler,
Here,
you
I'll
can
let
feel
you
free
look
to
at
tell
it.
us about the WNBA draft as well.
Yeah,
since
so
you know more about it than I do.
it was unexpected. So the LA Sparks
bueno.
went into the draft expected to get the number 1 pick. They had 44%. They had 2 terrible seasons, worst record in the league, and then the Dallas Wings get the number 1 pick. So Enrique and Satu Sabali will now get Paige Beckers on their team.
That's fire.
And Paige is I personally, this is gonna be a hot take. I actually don't think if you keep Enrique, I think that they would actually benefit more by picking. I don't know if you know her, but Kiki Ifrin from USC. She used to play at Stanford with Cam, but I think picking her up would probably be a better opportunity. She's like an actual big. She's more inside the arc, whereas Satu Sabali is like a shooter. She can kind of spread the floor. You have someone like her that could defend very well. I think that team could be good because Enrique is kind of creating everything for herself.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think adding Kiki would be really good. Do you know Kiki?
I've heard of her. I don't know her game that well, but I've heard of her.
I'm trying to think of an NBA comparison. It's realistically like any type of prototypical like power forward that primarily plays inside, that pick and roll,
She's
dive
like a
into the
Blake
basket.
Griffin?
Yeah, like a Blake Griffin, like a
Parker.
Stoudemire. Yep. Wait, who?
Jabari Parker.
Yep.
Ooh, that
Well,
was a
Jabari
nice
Parker can
play.
shoot though.
Blake Griffin can shoot as well.
Not when he first came in the league.
Yeah, he was a good mid-range shooter. It wasn't like
decent
an elite.
Which
But yeah,
I-
I get what you mean. I'm sorry, I don't mean to
Yeah.
debate. Yeah, I get what you mean. But that's good. So is she a power forward in women's basketball, or
Yeah, she's a power forward.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant like she was a center with that play style. I didn't know that's what you meant, so I was just making
No.
sure.
Right now she's playing with Juju though, and Juju's coming
they're
off
on the
to a
same
slow
team?
start. Yeah, USC
Oh, nice.
transferred.
There's another great scorer on that USC team, right?
I don't know college basketball too much. I only pay attention to the people that are being drafted.
Was she the
Because
transfer?
it's hard to watch. Kiki was a transfer.
Okay, so that's the girl that you're talking about. Okay,
Yeah.
I got
Kiki,
you.
she played Stanford with Cam last
What
year.
year is she in? She's a senior.
Yeah, this is her last
Well,
year.
of course, because she would be. You said she's going to the draft, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they have to do 4 years, don't they?
Yeah, so the wild part is they can do 5 years, and Paige, there was like some like hype about Paige not wanting to go to Dallas. She can actually go 1 more year in college if she wanted to.
That's crazy. I did not know they were eligible for 1 more year. Is it like if they miss a year, or is it just in general they can do 5?
Yeah, everybody's eligible for 5 years.
Yeah, I think even men are, right?
Yeah,
Wow,
men
I did
men
not
are
know
also
that.
eligible for 5 years.
And it also makes more sense for her because she's been injured 2 out of the 4
The rules of
years.
eligibility are crazy as well. So you could play out your eligible years at a later point as well. There's players in college that are 30 right now.
J.R. Smith
Wow.
came back to play college golf.
Yeah,
Oh, did he really?
Yeah,
yeah, he did. He I think he did really good too. Pretty straight.
probably.
I did not know that. For a second there, I thought it was a joke. I was about to laugh.
No, he really was.
I
Like,
still
he's-
should laugh because that's crazy.
yeah, he's really good at golf, bro. Like he got a scholarship.
Well, I
I
mean,
think,
of
or
course,
some
if you
shit
play
like
with a
think
bunch
so.
of college kids,
I don't know why he would have a scholarship though. It's fucking J.R. Smith, bro.
that. Pay for himself. Probably pay for everybody's tuition. At
he
that
probably got it
school.
from the J.R. Smith Fund.
He should be paying someone for the DUI.
Shout out to the Lakers.
But yeah, you could do 5 years, and you can play those out at any point. Now, there's not multiple players that are 30. So I did exaggerate, but there is at least one player because it was a story that came out recently. I can tell you that much, which means it is possible. And you can like sit out, you can redshirt. There's so many ways to play college basketball at older ages, but you're not gonna make it into the leagues that
If
you want to
you're-
make it
yeah.
into when you're
Yeah.
that old. You know what I mean? But it's still a way to potentially get yourself going other professional leagues around the world. To build that resume. So if you're still just looking to make a career out of basketball, it is still a plausible way to make it work. You know, people don't got the grades all the time. People, don't always have the right discipline at an early age, and they need a couple years to get their life together. So it's plausible. You're not gonna see the NBA like that, but
It works for women more because they're required to do 4 years anyway, or be 4
Yeah.
years removed from high school. So, like, you can go 1 more year.
yeah, I don't
Especially
think
if you're gonna win
young
champion.
female hoopers would just manage in the WNBA as well. It's too fundamental. It's too.
I thought it was weird when Angel left so early too. So I get what you're saying.
She was a
though.
senior.
No, she's a junior.
She's a junior.
Oh, junior. Oh,
left
I
early.
thought.
But she was 4 years removed because she had an injury.
Yeah. That's so
Okay.
weird.
Yeah. You have to be 4 years removed. You don't have to do 4 years of college. Yeah. So she's still the same age as a senior.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
okay.
it was just weird because most women in that situation, what they do is just play that extra year.
In the NBA, it's the same thing. You just have to be 1 year removed from high school. You don't actually have to do a year in college.
Like James Wiseman didn't do anything
Oh,
after he got banned from.
Yeah,
that
he
wasn't
didn't.
optional though.
Neither did Jalen Green.
No, he played on Ignite.
Yeah, he played on Ignite.
The AAU team.
I mean, they're gone for a reason.
They had plenty,
They are gone.
they've had a couple successful NBA players.
The
though.
Thompson twins were there, right?
Kaminga, Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad situation for
Matas
people.
Buzelis was on that team, and he's one of the best rim protectors in the league right now.
Oh wow.
But back to the UCF thing, since I saw it, they do play Colorado, who just beat UConn,
Okay.
which is their second loss to a unranked team. UConn's ranked number 2. They might just have the craziest drop off in the next AP poll that comes out, because to be ranked number 2 and lose to 2 back-to-back unranked teams, that's gonna be outrageous.
Yeah, Hurley was going crazy.
Like
too.
I would not be. They're not gonna leave them. They're not gonna unrank them. That's too much of a drop off. But they gotta go below. They gotta go below 6, maybe even below 8.
They might be
have
out
to.
the top. Yeah, top 10 to me. If you're losing,
They might be out the top 10. I wanted to say that, but I thought that might be a stretch. But they
This is
might
why
be
I'm
out the
here.
top 10. Yeah,
This is why I'm here.
yeah.
I got you.
They might be out the top 10 because it's like 2 unranked teams, and then you're starting the season 4 and 2.
And it was back to back, right?
yeah, back
Oh
to
yeah,
back.
yeah. Get you out of here.
You know better than I do. Is Colorado like a good college basketball team?
The girls team was good
Since-
last year, but I don't know about the boys team.
Because like did Coach Prime like change Colorado like altogether?
I mean,
No, I mean he doesn't coach the basketball
But
team.
I never even heard about them in basketball until last year with Coach
well,
Williams.
hold on. So Shaq's daughter went to Colorado last year.
Yeah, I never heard about them.
Yeah,
So-
they were.
No, I
actually,
don't know Colorado.
So, anyways, Shaq's daughter, one of Shaq's daughters, actually went to Colorado last year. And it is true. Like schools that usually have decent football teams or good football teams with a lot of hype, they usually have a good basketball program, like Florida.
Unlike Duke.
I'm not gonna say nothing. Duke is okay at football, but they're
What are we
obviously not.
considering good, though? I think it's the opposite. I think a team that is dominant in one sport tends to be pretty average or below average at the other sport. It's rare to see a team that's good
Because
at
like
both.
Clemson is not like ever up there in basketball.
Auburn's actually
Auburn's actually one of the ones that UCLA.
Auburn has
kind of
had
like a
USC at one point.
Auburn has had some recent success, but they're
Yeah.
not like a top tier college team.
Alabama has too. Alabama's another one. What I'm saying is kids tend to go where it's hot.
But I do believe these are all average teams we're mentioning. I don't think these are the elite basketball teams. Like I'm talking about like Duke and Kentucky.
Yeah,
and
there's
like
not a. I mean, Kentucky was straight up basketball.
UNC, like yeah.
Kentucky was all right at football. I'm trying to think because I actually knew a lot about football.
But then you look at like for example, when Oregon was dominating the football
They were-
scene, there was nothing you would ever hear about their basketball team.
But they did have a good basketball
Yeah,
team.
they
which is
always had a
surprising.
decent
Average,
basketball
I
team.
wouldn't really consider. My point is like there's never been elite at both sports. Not that I can think of.
Florida's the only one. They won championships both in basketball.
But were
and
they
football
elite
at
at the
the
same
FSU or
time?
UF?
They won championships with basketball and football at the
same time? Okay.
Yeah. Florida's like
FSU,
okay.
right?
No. Florida, University of Florida. They're only one of the only programs that you can say that what Nas is saying, like where they're clearly the best at both. They were ranked number 1 in football and basketball. Starting
This
in the
this is the Al Horford days. Back
Al
then,
Horford
or-
back with Tim Tebow around that time. That's around the same time, damn near. I can
Was
look it
it?
up.
There's no way Tim
No, that
Tebow was
doesn't-
around the
that
same time.
definitely doesn't
There's no
overlap.
way. There's no way. Tim Tebow was way more recent than
I was
Al
already
Horford.
drinking alcohol when Tim Tebow was around, so I was like 11 by that point.
Yeah, it had to.
Hold on.
Yeah, it had to be separate years. Al Horford, Joakim Noah, that was like 2004,
2006.
2005, something like that. 2006 could
Because they were
be.
drafted in
That was
2007.
when Tim Tebow was at the second year they won. He was at Florida those years.
It could definitely be possible. Tim Tebow could definitely be much older than I envisioned him to be, but I'm gonna still fact check you because I am curious now.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, that's my brother's favorite school. That's why I know.
Listen, we're gonna have a moment of silence while I try my hardest to prove him wrong.
While you guys have a moment of silence, the draft is very interesting, though. I will tell you that.
So
The
he got
University
drafted
of
in
Florida-
2010. There's a possibility they could have overlapped. There's a possibility.
Hold
All
on.
you have to do is scroll down a little bit, and you can see.
See what?
So the Florida University of Florida is also
true.
has the distinction of being the only school in NCAA history to win both basketball and football national championships in the same season.
But
The
it's
only-
not the same
No, that
year,
part
though.
we agree that you might be right on that.
Yeah.
That's not the part that I'm trying to fact check you on.
What do you,
I'm trying to see if
players?
Tim Tebow and Al Horford were.
Well,
were
Tim
on
Tebow
those
was
teams.
the last time that they were good, and I think, Tim Tebow was the last time.
2006 could be the year. You definitely could be right.
Yeah, because Al Horford's how many
what-
seasons?
Al Horford.
He's 17,
So what
18?
was it? 2006, 2008?
2007, 2006.
No,
Or-
they won. Football team won 2006, 2008.
Oh, well, they won back-to-back years. Florida did. That's
Yeah,
2006,
and
2007 is when he
and
won.
2006 was when Al Horford won. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. But they didn't win both years together. Only one of those years they won together.
Yeah,
Florida
yeah.
won back to back.
Yeah, Florida, the basketball
Oh,
team
the
went back
basketball
to
team went
back.
back.
In 3 years,
And the
that school
football
won 3
team missed a year.
champions.
Yeah, they did. They lost to Alabama. That is crazy. What are we watching?
Actually, no. In 3 years, that team won 4 championships between football and basketball. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 championships. Yeah, because you're counting the 2 championships in 1 year.
2
yeah.
football, 2 basketball.
The Heat are starting to come alive. They brought us down back to 10. So.
Oh, that was like so you guys didn't get to see it, but I actually beat Nas in 2K a moment ago. And this game kind of reminds me of it because I lulled him to sleep. I gave him a false sense of security throughout, and I purposely played bad, and I showed him in the 4th quarter.
Bro, I'm sorry. Look at the Heat's coaching staff, and then look at Milwaukee's coaching staff. They look a bunch of old men.
They got Pockets McGee over there, and they got the terrorist Doc Rivers. They have 2 terrorists on the same team.
Let's not forget that nobody can see what we're watching, so we're just talking blindly here.
I'm telling you that they have 2 terrorists on the Bucks. There's 2 terrorists that coach the Bucks.
So talk about terrorists. Giannis' foot being on that. I'm trying to get our topics in. Giannis.
Oh yeah, that's actually a topic that I was going to talk about next.
You can do that.
Yeah, the reffing. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Before we even talk about the plays, man, I can't stand how bad these referees have been this year. It's like
on all levels.
You have one job, and it's to get it right. You know what I mean? So we'll get into detail here as to what we mean. This would have been a much fresher conversation if we would have done our podcast last week, but because we were sick, we got to bring it up now. But still very relatable, and
because it just happened again with Fred.
Yeah, it's still exactly. It just happened again. That's another one. That's the 5th one on the list that I have. Then Fred VanVleet. I don't know Fred VanVleet's situation, so we can talk about that one at the end. But let's talk about the other 4 that I have on the list. 2 game winners were hit within 2 days or 3 days of each other.
For sure.
And in both situations, the players very clearly traveled. Right? Now, I believe the Jason Tatum one was a lot easier to miss.
Yeah.
Because he's just in a motion of just jab stepping and just doing too much.
That looked bad. That looked really bad.
I don't think it was terrible. I think it's a call that I think most refs can miss. Now, should you? I'm not saying you should miss any calls, but and out of the 4 that we have, that was the most understandable. Julius Randle, however, traveled the crap out of that ball. Julius Randle had no excuse. One, he had no excuse to have the ball. That ball should have been in Anthony Edwards' hands, but it worked out. So what can I say about that? But that was a atrocious travel, and that's 2. That's 2 game-winning situations. My thing, before I get into the last 2, is everything that happens throughout an NBA season has the ability to impact players and teams in the long run.
Yeah, for sure.
That loss by itself could turn out to be the difference between us being a 7 seed and a 6 seed.
Yeah.
Right? And then, boom, we're the 7 seed. We lose 1-game elimination play-in tournament games, and boom, we're out the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you would have called the game correctly and given us taken that shot away because they traveled, we would have had an extra win. That would have been the tiebreaker. We would have been, you know what I mean? This is all hypothetical. This is not actually happening. The season just started.
But it probably will happen at some point.
But it can happen. You know what I mean? It definitely can happen. It's like the referees don't realize the impact that they have not only on these teams but on these players. You know what I mean? Like that by itself can be the difference maker in a player's contract or stats, or you know what I mean? Like players get bonuses. You know what I mean? Like what team did Julius Randle hit the game winner on?
Was it the Utah Jazz?
It doesn't fully matter. Let's just use a random team. But the team doesn't actually matter. Let's say it was the Utah Jazz, right? Freaking Utah Jazz is a bad team. Let's say it was the Knicks.
Wait.
This doesn't apply.
Let's give it to the Heat.
You're saying a team with some seeding? Seeding?
Yeah, this wouldn't apply to the Jazz. Let's say the Knicks, for example, right?
It was the Suns, which does
okay,
matter.
perfect.
There you go.
It was the Suns. All right, so let's
lot.
say the Suns, for example. Let's say Devin Booker's contract. These players have bonuses that they can earn. You know what I mean? The bonus could easily say, if we win 55 games, we'll give you $2 million
That
extra
is
dollars.
what they do. That's a very common thing.
Exactly. That's a very common thing.
And when injuries happen, you get screwed over because you lost 1 game earlier in the season.
Exactly. And now you win. Imagine you finish the season with 54 wins. And you're like, God dang it, it's just 1 win. And they're looking at it like, damn, because of that referee and that bad call, we just lost this game. Now, I'm not getting that extra $2 million in my pocket. You know what I mean? Like, and like that kind of stuff happens.
A lot of the mid-level, people who are in NBA, like that they rely on those type of things.
Yeah,
because that's where they get their money
for like awards, for them making the playoffs, for all that. You know,
but those bonuses tend to be for the higher level players, though. You don't typically see that often.
They don't break it down, but almost every single player gets one for making the playoffs. Almost everyone gets one for winning a certain amount of games and playing.
When you're in the playoffs,
is it different amounts though?
Yeah,
no,
everyone has a different amount.
So hold on. When you're in the playoffs, no matter what sport it is, you're gonna get paid extra. It's not like it matters.
But you get. I'm saying you get an incentive for making the playoffs.
Oh yeah. But it's when you're in the playoffs, there's no differential. Everybody's getting the same amount in the playoffs. Like star players get paid as much as like the last guy on the bench in the playoffs. And that's the same thing with football and everything like that. They get paid extra to make the playoffs.
You know what pisses me off about the whole thing, though? And it makes no sense. The NBA instituted the last 2-minute report. For what reason?
Bro, I was just about to get off. That is like
what is the
worst shit
so
ever.
I lost the game, and now I know that we didn't actually lose the game because Tatum traveled. What now?
Thank you for letting us know we were
now?
right.
Like
what do we do now? And now they have the option to what's the word to challenge it, or there's a word for it, or what are they? Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I was about to wall.
No, not challenge the call, but not review. When you complain about something, and what's the word? I forget. They have the option to submit a complaint to the NBA. There's a word for it.
That's never. They've been doing that though. They've been doing the complaint to the NBA.
Well, that's what I think. They have the option to do that. I
forgot what it's called. I think you know what you're talking
because
about.
Because it doesn't happen. Remember that one time James Harden got that dunk and it went right back in the hoop, and they called it a missed call, and then they asked for a review, and then the refs didn't give him any fouls for the next month. Like, bro. What is the point of the last 2-minute report if it doesn't actually do anything?
That's what's going to happen.
It doesn't help the team. Like, nothing changes. You still lost. The refs still ref as bad as they're reffing. What does it matter?
Well, like at the end of the day, I don't. How do I say this? I don't like that the refs are split apart from the players, and sometimes the refs have their own like unity and they stick up for each other, whether it's a shitty person or not, just because it's a ref. And I really don't like that because it's a lot of gang mentality. And I don't mean to say it in like they're going to shoot each other. I'm saying in a way like now it's us versus the players. And now you have this animosity that's going to control how this game goes or what fouls you call for a player when he's being clearly fouled. And I just think that is absolutely absurd. Like as a fan, I don't want this game's outcome to be because Joey Crawford doesn't like Harden. Like that is the worst experience that you can give anybody. Fairness, I feel like when it comes to sports, is what makes sports.
Bro, it's paramount. Everybody should have a level playing field.
For sure. There should never be someone who is outcasted as a player because they don't like them. That doesn't make sense to me.
I agree. I think you should go into every game unbiased, indifferent to whatever's going on. Just do your job and go home. Simple as that. But a lot of these calls that we have on the list are just like blatant. It's just bad reffing. It's just. I don't even think it has anything to do with personal feelings towards players because we talk about like the Giannis call. Giannis is on the list twice. The Giannis call with the Hornets.
The foul?
That one first. The Hornets happened first with the foul. What foul are you calling? The man tripped on his own feet. And my problem with it is the perception that it gives is that players were in the way. So because LaMelo fell, you assumed Giannis had to foul him. That's outrageous.
Yeah.
If you did not see it, do not call anything.
Yeah.
You can't just assume because, players were in my way in the angle. I couldn't really tell what was happening. So why did you blow your whistle? It makes more sense to make a no call than to make a call that you did not see. You know
I think people can get over a no call more than they can get over a bad call. Can we agree with that? Like a bad call can stain people for life. Like we've seen.
I think there should be a better process.
Not just basketball, but like certain sports, there's been calls like the Cowboys Des Bryant drop call. I don't mean to bring up another sport, but I'm just in general like where it's affected the team and also the outcome of the team for years to come. Because now you're kind of messing up the feng shui of how it's supposed to go. When it's a no call, I'll take that every day because you weren't aware of it. You didn't know what was going on.
There's an easier process. There's always going to be two refs that have a good perspective on the call every single time. Like no matter what, there's two people that can see it.
Yeah.
If the two of them can't agree, you should review it. I think that's what you should always do. If two of you cannot actually figure out what happened, just review it real quick. That's what we should do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. I think the amount of challenges is not realistic either. It's a long game. There's a lot of bad calls being made. You know, these referees should not, or these coaches should not be required to pick and choose. And if the amount doesn't change, then I think a timeout should not be charged to the team if they call a challenge. I think players should be required to go to the opposite side of the bench, right? So you see the Heat bench right here. They should be required to go to the opposite side of the court, away from their coach. Shoot, honestly, even opposite side of the court in the sideline and opposite side baseline. Yeah. So you're as far as possible from your coach. This is not a timeout. You do not get to review the game. You do not get to game plan. Coaches have to come with us over here, and players have to go to the opposite side. You know what I mean? We're not going to charge you a timeout. We're going to get this right. And I think that is better because for the Bucks, they got screwed because they couldn't challenge. They had a challenge left, but they had no timeouts. So that rule shouldn't be implemented that way.
So if you have a challenge and no timeouts, you can't use your challenge.
You have to use a timeout to challenge. But if you win the challenge, you get your timeout back.
That's some bullshit.
It's like a collateral situation.
But then if you lose the challenge, you lose your timeout. So it's like it's outrageous. It's just weird how it works, and that can be the difference maker. The Bucks are on trying to bounce back. You know what I mean? They were in a solid 2 or 3 game winning streak at that point. That could have been the 4th game. The Bucks could have been undefeated for the last who knows how many games. That was the only game they've lost in the last, maybe 6 or 7 games they've played.
Yeah, they've been playing very good basketball now.
I think they're on a 4 or 5 game winning streak.
Despite Doc Rivers.
Yeah, despite Doc Rivers. So that could have been the difference maker. Now, saying all that, they would have eventually lost the game anyway because if we're talking about getting calls right, on the other end of it, the Bucks are still on the list again with another bad call, which I'm actually proud of myself. I got this myself. I noticed it in the middle of watching a highlight, and I actually caught it before it started trending because I didn't see it as people talking about him being out of bounds. I saw it as me wanting to watch Damian Lillard hit a game winner. Mm-hmm. So when I'm watching Damian Lillard hit a game winner, it was 2 clips. It was first they had a clip of Giannis getting a block, and then they had a clip of Damian hitting the game winner. So I just want to watch Damian Lillard hit a game winner. I was like, oh, dope. Damian Lillard hit a game winner. Cool. I click it. I watch the block, and as I'm watching the block, it's like something happened. I was like, wait a minute. Something that I just seen just doesn't look right. So I literally screen recorded my phone. I was like, there's no way. He maybe my perception is just wrong. You know what I mean? So I screen recorded it and I started zooming into it. I was like, damn, this mother lover was out of bounds.
I clearly
that's crazy.
The whole back of his ankle.
Yes, his whole half of his entire foot was out of bounds.
Like, refs weren't even looking at it either.
Bro, that's what made me the maddest, bro. That's what made me, bro. I'm gonna. I hope I can remember, man. I'm gonna make a note.
They're all looking forward. Like,
bro,
they were waiting for the game winner,
bro. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm gonna pull it up while I talk to y'all.
While you pull it up, do you remember the time that Kevin Durant went out of bounds against the Rockets?
Bro, I showed my wife that same video. She was flabbergasted.
She took 7 steps out of bounds and they touched the ball and they're like, "That's safe." Have you seen it?
She was flabbergasted. Bro, look at this. Look at the referee, bro. Look at Giannis's foot.
He's looking at something else. There had to be a bad bitch in there. That's how I would miss my calls. That's for sure.
Where were they playing at?
This looks like Milwaukee. Yeah.
It's Houston, bro. Meg was there.
Oh, they were playing Houston.
I could tell.
They were in Milwaukee.
He saw a Stallion and he was flabbergasted.
There you go.
No, but like for real, it's like it's crazy. It's like, and that's my point. It's bad reffing. Like it's your job to look at the foot or look at Giannis with the ball. You are the closest referee. Who are you looking at? I assume what he was looking at was the shot clock. That's what I'm assuming, or the game clock. That's what I think he was looking at. It should not be his responsibility to do that. It should not be his responsibility, and I don't believe it is. I don't know how the referee's playbook works. I don't know what their positioning is because they do have positioning and stuff that they're required to follow. So I do know that part of their job is not easy, but there's no way it was his responsibility to check the game clock. It should have been the referees that were ahead to check the game clock, right? Yeah. So that's the only thing I can think of. That's what he was looking at. And if he probably wasn't even looking at it for the sake of his job. He probably was just looking at it for the sake of, oh, snap, this game is interesting now. You know what I mean? Like
he was so close.
He was right. He's like, oh damn, this game is close. I was like, front row seats. This whole time, this goddamn person is out of bounds. I was like, bro, like, what are you looking at, man? And yeah, that Kevin Durant thing was crazy. But
the thing is, the Rockets are another team where that might impact them. that
Right.
genuinely might impact them because they're a team that deals with a lot of injuries all the time. They're a team that's kind of newer. They're
They've
kind
been
of
playing
figuring out
well.
the first step. They've been playing well, but all it takes is Jalen Green regress in the way he is, and the rest of the team go back to normal. And maybe they're like 2 wins away from securing a 6 seed.
Or not even a 6 seed, maybe even a play-in, because
Yeah.
that's what we had them as a play-in team, regardless.
And now they're stuck because
doing
of
great
these
right now, though.
terrorists, these refs. The last
This
2 minute
is
report.
terrorists.
The last 2 minute report should have implications. They I don't know if they get bonuses. I
Refs
don't know
should
what
get
it is.
fined, even if it's behind doors. They should
They
get
do
fined.
get fined.
Yeah, they do.
They do?
There should be
Yeah.
tally mark. We should get to hear about the fines. That's what the issue is.
I
want
don't
to
actually
know.
agree with that. I don't actually
I don't
agree
I
with
do.
that.
gotta keep that
I don't
stuff
care.
in-house.
I want to know. I don't care what anyone is telling me right now. I want to know that you're losing money for what you're doing wrong.
Can I still offer my opinion though?
Yeah,
I know you don't care.
I do
but
care.
can
I do care. I do care. I don't care about the refs.
But yeah, no, I do. I like the fact that the NBA does fine them. They've made it clear that they purposefully don't make it public. I do agree with that. I do believe that stuff like that should be kept in house because it would set a bad precedence to know what referees are getting fined, especially if they get fined multiple times. Players are going to use that to their advantage to argue and debate, and I think it messes the game up. I think it's going to create far more debates than there already are. You know what I mean? And flopping, complaining, and all this stuff is at an all-time high as it is. You know what I mean? They're just going to find more reasons.
It's
do it.
crazy. For the amount of flopping that's going on, I don't see a lot of fines.
Yeah, they just completely stopped flopping
Those are
after
all
Marcus Smart.
Those are also in-house. They don't mention
Wow, that
those
was a tough
as much.
shot.
Wait, really?
Occasionally, you'll see them advertise it, but it's not like a priority for them to tell the world who's getting fined for flopping. But people do get fined for flopping still.
Gotcha.
Mainly Marcus Smart. He funds
What I haven't seen
entire
is the
charities.
technical fouls. There's supposed to be technical fouls for
That's
flopping.
that's. I guess that's
Yeah.
what I was trying to.
Yeah,
get at.
that's a new thing. I think they started that last season, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but it hasn't. I mean, it's been some bad
I
flopping.
did see it last
I've
season.
only seen 2 calls in the last 2 seasons for it though.
Yeah, I did see it last season. I don't recall seeing it this season.
I guess it has to be like egregious, like really.
Yeah,
like,
it has to be obvious. A lot of these flops aren't like enough to say like that was obviously a flop.
Remember that time Marcus Smart got hit and he just like bounced in the air?
Yeah, Marcus Smart is a king of flopping for sure. Speaking of king of flopping, actually, Joel Embiid apparently.
Damn.
No, Joel Embiid is a monster flopper. For
Yeah, he
sure.
is. He is.
Yeah,
Marcus
I
Smart-
respect it though.
Marcus Smart walked, so Joel Embiid could run. That's a flopping.
Yeah, but speaking of floppers and Joel Embiid, you guys heard about the team meeting the Sixers
Yeah.
held.
Bro, they needed it.
Before we get into the happenings of that team meeting, what do you guys feel about team meetings and players having
Your
that
season's
type of-
going downhill. I'm sorry.
I think
I guess that's not the question I was
My
asking.
bad,
I was
my
more
bad.
just wondering, like, how do you guys feel about players doing that? Do you feel like it should always be a group thing, or do you think it's appropriate for players to set themselves aside and say, let's talk amongst each other?
At that,
I think you should do that. I think that you should have.
Only players?
I think you should have a level of understanding with your coach, but you also ultimately you do have to build chemistry with your team the most out of everybody.
I just. My bad.
Go ahead.
No, my thing is like, why is the coach not calling these meetings? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does have meetings where he gets into.
Oh, yeah,
it.
they definitely
they
have
do.
meetings, yeah.
Yeah. So like, but why are the players having another meeting about what he's saying? What are they going to hold each other? Like, isn't that what the coach is supposed to do? Is right? I mean, get me wrong. The coach holds you accountable. Why is Paul George or it was Tyrese Maxey, right, trying to hold Joel accountable for not being on time and things like that? That's not really his job.
Oh, man. You were so close. Bro, we would have had the first moment in HoopTalk history that I would have agreed with you. But as soon as you mentioned that last part, you lost me. Now, I do agree with the first part. I do agree that I don't believe players should want to hold a meeting on themselves
Yeah, it's
to
tough.
hold each other account. Or, sorry, let me take that back. But just in general to have a meeting, I believe, like, you are just as much the problem as the coaches. It doesn't matter how good you think your coach is. It doesn't matter if your coach is Eric Spoelstra, who's popularly known as a great coach. It doesn't matter if your coach is Darvin Ham, who's popularly known as a terrible coach. It doesn't matter who your coach is. They should be involved in the meeting because you're losing because of everybody.
Yeah.
And that's just my personal opinion. And I believe teams that don't think that way don't win. It's simple as that. If you do not believe that it is everybody's fault and that there is a person to blame, then you are not meant to win a championship because there's not one person to blame. Everything has
and you stand
a
on
chain
that,
of events.
Yeah, you stand on
Yeah,
that.
everything has a chain of events. This doesn't happen. Like, I see you want to say something. The last thing I'll say, so I'll give you a chance to talk.
You're fine.
The last thing I'll say about it is if you want to hold Joel Embiid accountable for being late, he's late for a reason, right? My thing is everybody has the power to fix this.
Yeah.
If multiple people believe that this is a problem, all of you had the power to fix it.
Yeah.
If one person and only one person believed that was a problem, that one person had the power to fix it. Maxie, you noticed that he was late to meeting. Now, first of all, let me say, Joel Embiid, don't be late. That's not good leadership. You need to show up.
Tonight.
Yeah, you need to stand. Oh, he is?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Everyone comes back against the Lakers, bro. Let
me make sure I'm clear.
Keep going.
Let me make sure I'm clear. Joel Embiid, I'm not saying him being late. If it's true, I don't know if it is, but that's what they say.
Yeah.
If it's true, I'm not saying it's okay to be late. We'll get to that later. We'll talk about it after. But my point is, Maxie, if you noticed it, what did you do to fix the problem?
True.
This is as much your team as it is his.
True.
It is as much your record as it is his. It is as much your culture as it is his.
But that's what he's doing, though. He's calling the team meeting to hold people accountable for something that came out in the leak that was already addressed multiple times with Joel Embiid. I want you to really think about Joel Embiid. With his stature, with how good of a player he is, how elite he is, do you really think that he's going to listen to the coach like all the time? Do you think he's going to accept that feedback that, he needs to show up on time all the time? Nick Nurse is not that type of guy that commands that level of respect, especially when they've only been here since the offseason. Nick Nurse has been here for a little while.
I just feel like great coaches, even if they're having bad seasons, their players are not holding team meetings.
They do, though, because we saw it with the 2016 Cavs. We saw it with the 2017 Warriors.
Who was the coach of the 2016 Cavs?
Ty Lue, who we found out is actually very good.
Yeah, we found out after they won,
but
we didn't find out in the minute. He was not
2017 and 2018 Warriors we saw with Steve Kerr, and he was a good coach by that point.
Hold on. Time out real quick.
What do we say?
I was about to say, great coaches do not have only team meetings held against them. Ty Lue was not a top coach at the time. He was a very good candidate. He's always been a good candidate at that moment. But good coaches can control that. I've never heard of a Greg Pop team. I've never heard of an Eric Spoelstra team.
It's happened with the Heat, though.
Yeah. No, it hasn't.
It has.
Then when it did, you know what happened? What's his name? The GM.
No, I'm not talking about LeBron. I'm talking about when with Jimmy Butler on the team recently.
Well, I mean, did it?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I didn't hear about
these teams have team meetings with players a lot.
No, I think players do that. Players do that. I wasn't trying to say that they don't. My thing is, why do they need to? It's not just y'all. Y'all are not the only problem.
Yeah.
You going out of your way to try to hold everybody accountable and say, oh, our players aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. You can't convince me that's the only thing y'all talking about. You can't convince me. Maybe it is, and I respect it if it is. If you guys are able to stay professional and say, let's just talk about each other, let's hold each other accountable. PG, you effing up. Joel Embiid, you effing up. Maxie, you effing up. If y'all can do that for real, I respect it, and I take it back. But come on.
Yeah.
Are they?
Embiid and Paul George are talking shit in there about Nick Nurse.
Like, there's,
Nick Nurse is not the problem, bro. He's a good coach.
But he is a part of the problem because I don't think he figured out this team yet.
Everybody's a part of the problem. So everybody needs to meet. Everybody needs to talk. Everybody needs to figure this out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's my thing with player meetings. Player meetings should be for building a rapport, for building, chemistry. And that's what team meetings are supposed to be for. And if you want to talk about the game while you do that, that's cool. But team meetings, if it's because we're failing, it's because we're playing like shit, coaches have to be involved. I genuinely believe that.
That's what makes a team is having a coach.
And Nick Nurse doesn't have control over that because he can't control the players going behind his back and doing that, right?
Yeah.
But it's like
it's a level of respect you should have for someone like that.
Exactly. That's my opinion. It's a level of respect that you should have, and that kind of goes to one of the topics that I really wanted to touch base on is like this generation of hoopers. They're just losers. They have the losers mentality. A winner is not going to think that way. You know what I mean? Like, listen, Like, you think Kobe's gonna sit here and only focus on when he had a good team? When he had trash teams, he's gonna do whatever he
I
has
agree
to.
with you on that. I agree with
But
you
when
on
he
that.
has good teams, you think he's gonna sit here and just focus on oh my gosh, Shaq, you doing this, you're doing that? Like, no, man, Phil, what are you doing to fix the problem? You know what I mean? Like, you see that Shaq hasn't been playing defense for the last week. Maybe you should cut his minutes by 5 minutes, make him feel it somehow. You know what I mean? Or Shaq goes and says, Phil, Kobe's been chucking up shots and we haven't been winning games because he's taking a lot of bad shots. What are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? Like, it has to be more of a
Open discussion.
I'm not just gonna go to Kobe and say it's Kobe's fault. Everybody plays a role. You think Shaq's the only person that, and this is an example, this doesn't really happen. I'm just saying. You think Shaq's the only person that saw Kobe taking a bunch of bad shots? You think Shaq's the only person that realizes the Lakers have lost their last 3
Rick
games?
Fox didn't want to take some of those shots?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wide open?
Everybody is seeing this. Everybody needs to be in the conversation. Everybody needs to be a part of the solution.
That's why it shouldn't be a only players meeting. It should be a team meeting.
Every time it should always be a team meeting.
I want to kind of straddle the fence. I don't mind the only players meeting because sometimes hearing from another perimeter, like Maxey telling Joel, I don't think that really works for him because I think Maxey's really under Joel when it comes to like who he is, his status on the team. But someone like PG, right, to tell Joel, hey, yo, if we want to win, we got to do this and that. But I want to just note this real quick. To give Nick Nurse a little bit of credit, he's gotten McCain going, and second, he hasn't had a healthy lineup in God knows since when. And he started the year off with both of them gone. They got him for one game. Paul gets hurt within like the first half. So I can't blame Nick Nurse all the way for the L's. I do think that this is kind of like on Philly's players to figure this shit out. Because it's one thing.
It's on everybody. It really is on everybody.
The Philly is genuinely, Philly's one of the most dysfunctional franchises that we have. I know that. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Finish.
I know that it looks like that they're not, but like they really are. And I think the players taking accountability and understanding, like, yo, we want to win. The coaching staff, like Joel Embiid, a notorious troll, Paul George, a notorious person who doesn't take any accountability. They recognize, like, we have to take it amongst ourselves.
He goes to his podcast and talks about the shit that's going on the team.
So, like, I think to me, the way I view it, I understand what you guys are saying. I could see it, but to me, I view it like Tyrese just wants to win. He sees that they actually have a good squad for once. Joel Embiid is just not following in line because I don't think he respects Nick Nurse.
Yeah.
Like, you have to make a change. And Tyrese, I think that they have a better relationship than he does with Joel Embiid and Nick Nurse because Nick Nurse is brand new. They played together. They've known each other. They've had playoff series. He trusts Tyrese Maxey, I think.
Wow.
A great rebound.
Wow.
Jesus.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I respect Tyrese for going out of his way for sure. So my point isn't really to say that Tyrese shouldn't have done that. I respect him for saying I need to do something. It's just I do believe there was a better approach to the situation, and I do believe Nick Nurse has to be involved. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, man, you just gotta respect it. You know what I mean? And Nick Nurse has to play a role in enforcing that level of respect. You know what I mean? There has to be an understanding. Like I don't care who you are. Like you're gonna do what I say. You know what I mean? And I'll give JJ Redick respect for imposing his will.
JJ Redick,
like, bro.
him and Missoula, they don't care who you are. If you're an all-star, what you've done, they're gonna call you for what it is. And
you'll go to the bench.
I love them as coaches. Those are some of my favorite coaches right now because that's what this generation needs. I mean, I'm gonna go a little personal, about our meetings and stuff. Even Nas has to get on my ass sometimes, but sometimes I need that to do what I got to do. And there's some players in this league who need the fire to be burnt for them to play good. Like look at LaMelo, what his coach did. He sat him down in the last 2 minutes. Next game he drops 50. Sometimes you do need that like reality check of like, oh, I can lose this all at once, or I'm not giving my all right now, and this can translate to the season being me not giving my all right now. And I respect the coach for going out his way and making a star player the example because we don't have that anymore. There's no accountability. Everybody gets a scapegoat. All these young players, even off the court, they get away with shit too. So it's just kind of sad. Like this is what we're coming to. One, branding, and two, like this is just a pop circuit at sometimes. It's like very
Everyone's
poppy.
a pop star.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Like Jared McCain is literally, and I don't mean to throw him under the bus, but he's what the NBA will become because he's not winning and he's talking about being rookie of the year after dropping 30 points in the L.
Oh wait, I agree with him being rookie of the
No,
year.
no, I get it, but you're not winning. It's not about you being rookie of the year. You dropped 30 and lost. Like, go get a dub. Like, worry about them dubs. You should not be
they won
worried
that
about,
game. But
yeah. Oh, real quick, last thing, and then we'll leave Philly alone. I heard on the 520 podcast, there's 30 games until the All-Star break. Do you guys think that Philly can change it around and at least win 500 of those 30 games? And if they do, their record is going to be really bad still regardless, but I'm still giving them 15 out of 30. Do you guys think they can still make the playoffs
If they only win 15 out of 30, they are going to be a lottery team.
Even if they win 20 games, they're still going to be 500.
now the East records aren't that good, so they will get that benefit of the doubt because the East right now, the top teams don't have the greatest records. I think even the third seed is only like I forgot already, but
No, you're good.
my point is but the East doesn't have the best record compared to some of the Western teams. So I think they can still scratch it because a lot of these teams that are doing well in the East, it's not sustainable for them. So to answer your question, yes, I do believe that they can definitely make a playoffs if they can figure it out. The question is, can they figure it out? That's really the thing. If they can, yes, they can make the playoffs because like the Nets are doing decent. You know, how long are they going to do decent? The Bulls are doing decent. How long are they going to do decent? You know, like I don't expect these teams to be better than the Sixers for much longer.
I want to give you an idea of how bad the Sixers season has been. They, so far up to this point, have had the 10th easiest schedule in the NBA, meaning out of everyone they're playing, they're primarily playing people that are not even in the playoff standings so far, if there was one. They're playing people that are below 500 consistently,
That's the
and
East
they are
in general.
3-13.
Yeah.
But that's 10th easiest if they would have their full roster. If the Sixers were judged based on the roster that they've had to put out there, they would be considered the worst team in all these matchups.
But they're
Like, Maxey's
not going
missed
to
a
have
bunch
their
of-
full roster because they're going to continue to get injured. That's two injury
Right,
prone people.
but his scenario is if they can get it together. And I think they can get it together. I think they do have the ability to play better.
No, I was asking
I
you
wanna
guys
make a bet on
genuinely.
that.
No. I was asking you guys genuinely. Do you think they can still be a playoff? I think they could be a playing team, but
I wanna
like
make a bet on
legitimate
that.
playoff
No,
team.
I don't want to make it better because I don't know when Embiid or even if he returns, what's going to happen.
He
So
is back. He's been back.
That's what we're saying. Like, based off of what you've seen so far for this team,
What do you
and
expect?
what your expectations are.
Can they
do
be-
you think it's realistic, knowing Joel Embiid's injury history, knowing what he always goes through? Do you think from now to February, 11th, 14th, whatever around there, do you think that they pull it
Oh
together?
no, if they can't
bet-
get their roster together, no, I
Well,
don't think so.
They're 3-13. If they only win half, if they go 500, they're what? You said there's 30 games.
The thing is,
They're 15.
yeah,
30.
the 30 games to the All-Star game. The thing is, right, even if they win 20 out of the 30, they're still going to be like below 500 or close to 500. My bet is, do you guys think they can make it past 500 or be at 500 by the All-Star game?
I do not think so. 3-13 is a lot to come back from with two people that are injury prone.
So
Yeah, if they go 20-10 for the next 30 games, they would be 23-23.
exactly, so 500. So do you guys believe that they can be 500?
No.
And if they don't, is this a loss of a season? Do you shut it down for Embiid? Do you shut it down for Paul George? Let them relax, go get some picks. You have all your picks left. You go. You know what I'm saying? Kind of
So
start thinking about next
you
year.
have to make a decision now because that pick that
think
they
so,
have
too.
is only top 6 protected. So if they decide to go halfway and then later in the year they're losing that pick
Well,
to
that
OKC.
pick will be a trade asset. I don't think they're gonna go younger.
But they
at
won't
all.
have that pick at all. That's the thing. If they don't do bad enough.
I honestly think. I mean, it's crazy to even think it. I think they should shut them down, let everybody get healthy, really let Embiid get truly healthy. I don't think he's been truly healthy for the last almost 2 years.
He's never been truly healthy in his entire career.
He came
Joel
in
Embiid has
unhealthy.
he's never played a healthy season of
Man,
basketball.
Miami, how did you take this L?
It's 2 minutes left, 4-point game.
I need
They
to-
came back down 20.
Yeah, they were down.
They're one of my last legs in the parlay, and I need them to freaking.
But yeah, either way, Embiid has never been healthy. He missed the first 2 seasons of his career.
Yeah.
And then right after that, he missed another season. Like shortly after he came back, he got injured
When you're
again.
45.
He's never missed a full season though.
Oh,
Since then.
Half the season. I apologize.
But he's either way. Yeah, if they can get their roster together, yes, I believe that they have the ability to get it back together and scrape themselves into the playoffs, and their first round exit. I don't believe that I don't think Embiid has the health this season. I think past seasons when he's unhealthy, I don't know how to explain it. When he plays, he can still play. I don't know if this season, when it's time to play, he can still play. I don't know. I don't. The injuries that he's suffering through now and how he's coming back, he doesn't look like the same Embiid anymore. And I don't know if he keeps missing out games, if he's gonna be the Embiid that they need to succeed. I don't think.
And he needs to start looking like that Embiid now. You can't look at it too long. Like you guys are 3-13, bro.
Yeah, you can't wait.
Your schedule's getting harder every single month.
Yeah,
I don't even think they played against Boston yet.
I don't think it's just smart as an organization. I think as an organization, I respect it more. If like, hey, what the hell? An organization, I respect it more. Like, hey, let's take this year. Let's develop Jared. I think Jared can be an all-star player next year or close to it. Let's figure out these.
I would not put my money on that, but
go ahead. I'm not saying an all-star player, but I think he can be. Man, that's crazy. They just fucked my whole parlay up.
But I think this is the season where it's time to say it's over. I think they have to just face it. I think it's time to say it's over. You have an injury-prone, always injured superstar franchise player, and you just spend all this money on another injury-prone star player who
you're paying till he's 40,
who has proven over the last few years to be a no call, no show in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So like, it's tough.
I think the projections of them was too high. I don't think we
on paper it's supposed to work.
For sure.
That's the hard part, and that's why I don't always try to put down these GMs too much, because on paper things make sense.
They had a great big
but
wing
you gotta
team.
take your eyes off the damn paper and just watch a damn game. You know what I mean? Like, watch these dudes play. I get it. Advanced analytics and all these different things. Say Paul George and Embiid are supposed to work, but like,
advanced analytics don't matter if they're both not on the court. Analytics are zero. They're mute at that point. And I love analytics. You know that. I love stats. I love numbers. But like,
I need them.
You know who Paul George was up to this point, and you've already known who Embiid was. That wasn't a risk that I think made sense.
Yeah, it's tough, but not to beat a dead horse, but
I want to beat it.
Man,
I think everybody has the common opinion or the common consensus that it's just the Sixers just probably need to wrap it up. I don't know, man.
You think they trade everybody out, try to like see if they can get some players back?
Embiid's not that type of player. Embiid doesn't go until he says so. He's not that type of player.
Maybe it's not his call.
He's too high profile. It will always be his call. He is the boss in Philly until he says so.
They still sell tickets just because of him, and that does ultimately.
Players of Joel Embiid's caliber do not get traded without their consent. Yeah, it will never happen. It never has happened, and it never will happen.
Not there.
He's Philly's cash cow right now, bro. They are still a team that needs to make money, and if you trade Embiid, Maxey and McCain are not enough to make you money.
If you trade Embiid without his consent, you're getting fired.
Would Philly be a low market team?
No. Philly's one of the biggest markets in the world.
I wasn't too sure. Man, they're burning this shit out, bro.
Yeah, for sure. They're one of the biggest markets, but yeah, Joel Embiid is definitely. Oh, man, it might be a game-winning situation here.
Oh, my God. Why would you leave him open? Out of anybody, why would you leave A.J. Green open?
It didn't count.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
We apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We're watching the...
This is a tight game. It's 104-103. Milwaukee's up by 1. 5 seconds left. A.J. Green just tried to take a shot.
Let's see. You got 7 seconds, 6 seconds.
No, he got that off. No.
Oh, yes. Parlay's still alive.
Okay, so we're watching it right now. Pluto's about to win his parlay. He got it off maybe 0.2 seconds after the clock went off, man.
Man, I need that dub. Man.
Yeah, he's not even close, low key.
No, he's like 2.2 off at minimum.
He still had full control of the basketball in his hand. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I guess we can move on. Not to talk about Philly too much. Former Philly coach is on the screen right now, coaching the Milwaukee Bucks. But let's see what I do with my notes.
You see that Trae Young went to Jordan Brand?
Yeah, Trae Young went to Jordan. That's pretty dope.
That was a very quiet move.
You think that was? I think, and I have no, of course, evidence.
He was Adidas guy, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think this is because Anthony Edwards. I think he considered himself the next person up to take James Harden's spot. could we agree that James Harden was the man?
Adidas dropped him.
James Harden?
Oh, well, never
Yeah,
mind. Take it
Adidas
all back.
dropped Trae Young.
Well, never mind then.
Oh man. Well, regardless, we all know Anthony Edwards is who's up next for Adidas. There's
Well,
no
I guess
one
I'll
else.
just ask the question: would we agree that James Harden was the man? in
Oh,
Adidas?
absolutely.
Hell yeah,
Absolutely.
hell yeah, hell yeah. That's his shit.
Cool. I was just curious. I was curious if maybe Dame Lillard could give him some competition, but
I-
yeah.
I think it was Dame. I think it was Dame's shoes. Are
I
some
think
of the
they
nicest
shared it
shoes.
together for a while.
You think?
they did.
I think Harden probably sells way more though by
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah, Harden's more of a popular player. He's always been in bigger markets, so I don't.
I think it went. There was like a hierarchy. It went like Harden. It went Dame, and then it probably went Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I can agree
Oh yeah,
with
so
that.
he wasn't even top 3. Okay.
Because I've never seen anybody in my life ever anywhere ever wear a pair of Trae Young shoes. playing
Not
basketball.
crazy that you say that. I was gonna buy Trae Young shoes actually.
And
I'm
why did you not?
I don't know. I just didn't.
Exactly.
They have a cool color wave. They have a Buzz Lightyear color wave for oh, that's a pass. Oh man.
Oh snap!
That's in.
No, I needed
In,
it.
man.
into Torian Prince's hands.
I needed that, bro.
Do they have a timeout left? This could still, yeah, it's still a 1 possession game. They could definitely make something happen here. They should be adding more time to the clock, I believe.
They're gonna add probably 0.8.
Man,
Point
I needed
8?
that.
That's a lot.
Why did he
I don't
take
know.
that
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is 0.8. Look,
Why did he take that
yeah, it's
shot?
like 0.8. 1.2.
Oh snap! Look at that.
So if you did just miss.
Oh, you said they were gonna put it 2.8.
No, I said they were at 0.8. It was 0.3.
Oh, they were gonna add 0.8.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was almost right.
I know.
They added 0.9, right?
I'm good at my math, bro. I was a mathematician in my past life.
But yeah, Trae
Yeah.
Young. I don't have much to say about the Trae Young, but
I like him more in Jordan, though.
Who's the man in Jordan? Is it Jason Tatum?
By far, I mean, he would just won
I
a
would
championship.
say it's Jason Tatum and Luka. I think they're tied
They
when it comes to
should.
Jordan.
Nah, I doubt Luka's selling like that. I doubt it. There's no
Does
way.
Luka have a
They
signature?
They both have 3 signature shoes. There's no reason to believe that they're both not selling the same amount.
Let's look it up. There's no way.
I've
Tatum-
never even seen a pair of Luka.
I've never seen a pair of Jason Tatum shoes in person yet.
Oh, I've seen him in person.
I see them all the time.
Yeah, I've never seen a pair of Luka Doncic.
You also don't be in the hoop scene like that either.
I don't. That's the whole thing. That's what you guys have to understand.
Nah, there's no way. I'll be so.
The Luka Jordan one is taking over basketball.
Overtime, guys.
No,
What do you
man,
guys
That's the
got?
first thing I
That's
see
just
from Sports
clickbait.
Illustrated.
You guys got overtime or no?
It's possible. I guess we'll see. But just because of his name, it's possible that Luka is the man in Jordan. But I don't know, man.
I like
think
Jason
so.
Tatum's shoes a lot more, though.
Yeah.
Let me see Luka's shoe. I've never seen a Luka
me neither.
Doncic shoe.
I was gonna debate about Zion, but yeah, that's probably
It's-
not.
So Zion actually probably did sell more because he had those lows. Those ones were really
Yeah,
nice.
that's he's probably with all the time he's missed. That's probably gone down by a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Who's out? Who else is at the Jordan team? They're pretty deep.
They still have Chris Paul, if that matters.
Like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I don't really see anything about either of their sales. There's no numbers.
I've never seen Luka Doncic shoes because I would probably.
But
buy a
either
pair
way,
of
I
them.
don't know too many familiar faces in Jordan, to be honest. But
Me neither.
aside from just the people who we just mentioned, I know in the past they had Melo, they had Blake Griffin.
Oh, those are kind of cool. They kind of look like Devin Booker's.
Yeah, they're really not bad.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Just nobody talks about their sales.
Speaking of people switching brands, though, inside the NBA is switching over to ESPN now.
Really?
Yeah, they're gonna bring. They're in negotiations to make them a part of the deal to get them over to ESPN. It's still going to be handled by TNT, but broadcasted on ESPN. It's a very weird situation. I think it's the NBA just trying to really keep them,
their fans.
Yeah, keep them in there. They're also struggling with viewership right now, so they probably don't want to lose.
That's the Shaq and Kenny show, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to watch those shows because I don't mean to be nonsense, like kind of be throwback in the past, but man, my heart's racing. Hold on, let me watch this.
TNT is also going to be doing Unrivaled, by the way.
Yeah, you said that earlier.
He didn't get that off in time.
Ooh, man.
He didn't get off in time anyway.
Damn it, man!
Damn, that sucks.
Fuck my parlay.
Y'all
there
lost
goes
the
Milwaukee.
Giannis
They lost to the Giannis-less freaking Bucks, bro. I'm so
The Bucks
hot.
won in despite of Doc Rivers.
In spite.
They collapsed.
No,
too,
despite.
bro.
I meant to say.
Man, that wasn't even close.
In
bro.
spite means we hate him. Despite means like he was holding us back and we still won.
It's not even close.
Well, earlier we were talking about losers and the mentality of these players these days. I meant to mention this while we were having that discussion, so I guess I won't get too deep into it. But what do you guys think about the whole Randle and Rudy Gobert situation?
I think Randle's a loser. I think
God. That was
I
fast.
really do believe it, bro. Every team he's been on, but so the backstory that Randle had, or I'm sorry, Gobert had, what's his face, Scotty Barnes pinned underneath the rim. He was completely wide open. All he had to do, Randle, pass it to him, clean entry, nobody around him, but he chose not to because Randle on the perimeter had Jakob Poeltl on himself, and he wanted to beat him off the dribble instead. So, Rudy is sitting there expecting a pass, and there's no pass, so they get a 3-second in the key, and
There is two sides to that, though. You're kind of making it seem like it's solely Randle's fault. There's no reason why Gobert should have been down there for that long. Like, you're not getting the ball, you got to move. This is just basketball. Both of them did the wrong thing. I don't think there's one that was more right.
It was two bads.
There's nobody that did the right thing in that situation. In my personal opinion, I blame Gobert more than I blame Randle. Because at the end of the day, you got the turnover.
He looked like a little kid. Like when that
exactly.
happened.
Like
Gobert
like a
gets a
child.
pass normally. That is a pass that he normally gets. He
But
doesn't
that's
get it
not-
now because he has Randle.
But that's not okay to force a turnover just because
Yeah.
you're mad your teammate didn't get you the ball. That's not okay.
Yeah, that's
you
not
resolve that later. We talk about that in the locker room. We can square up. You don't want to give me the ball, we can square up about it. You know what I mean? If I beat your ass,
I don't
you gonna
think
give me the
it's
ball. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's that. But I will say this, like, to kind of harp on everything that you guys are saying, like, I do feel like it's a little bit blasphemous for him to, like, it looked like a child, like, not getting what he wanted. And he stood there and just stopped playing basketball and was Rudy Gobert for a little bit. And I was just in my head, like, when I watched that highlight, I was like, that's kind of gross. Like, that's real toxic behavior when it comes to, like, being on the court. And honestly, I would not expect Randle to keep passing him the ball or anything like that because it wasn't about – regardless, Randle could have scored and the point could have been had. You know what I'm saying? My problem with this is, like, you gave up a whole possession. That could be a possession we need at the end of the game over you not getting the ball. When you can simply – there's going to be a timeout. You be like, hey, Randle, listen, hey, he's on my hip. I got him in my right hand. I can make this layup. And then Randle can look for you next time. But it's maturity levels to basketball, and I just think he can be very immature. And he's shown in the past that he is immature. That's my only knock with him in general as a person is he's kind of immature sometimes.
I also think with Randle, though, he has an issue with having tunnel vision as well.
No,
I
he
think,
does.
I don't think that this is a good pairing for that team at all. I don't think that it'll ever work.
This trade was never meant to work. I really don't believe that.
think it was a free up.
It was to free up money so they could sell it to A-Rod.
This is an off year. This is all it is. They're just taking a break because they had to figure it out.
No, Randall's free agent next year. Vincenzo's a free agent next
Randle's
year.
not a free agent next year.
He should be. His contract.
No,
should
Randle's
be
not
in.
a free agent next year.
I don't think DiVincenzo is either.
Oh, they locked these guys in.
They already
The
had
Knicks did.
contracts. I think they have
Damn.
2 years left.
That
both of them.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
I think DiVincenzo will bounce back though. He's a good player. He's always been a good player. He's never had a bad season. It's just I think
scheme.
he'll bounce back. It just happens. But
Randle's Randle though. That's the issue.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
a terrible defender, and you can't have a bad defender on that team.
yeah, listen, we've reached the Randle has reached the point where he is the game plan now for the other team. Attack Randle. Like he's another notch on JJ Redick. He literally called it out. He said our game plan for today, I think it was our first game of the season, is we're going to take advantage of Randle. And he said it. The players said it. He didn't say it, but the players said that he said it. That the game plan was that Randle tends to stand around stagnant and not stay active, and we're going to take advantage of that. And literally, Rui Hachimura did exactly that. Every time he saw Randle stagnant, boom, baseline cut, wide open, dunk. Boom, flash to the middle. Randle's not paying attention. Easy mid-range shot. So it's like you said, Randle is Randle. He's going to be a problem. But overall, in regards to the actual topic itself, I do believe Gobert was more of a problem than Randle in that situation. But I do think they both were the problem.
I just give Gobert a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt this time. I do think he's still the issue, but
no,
I
but getting a
do see
turnover is
Randle
just
as
not
the
the
issue.
solution.
I agree with that. Yeah. But also at the end of the game, seeing Randle drop the ball to Rudy at the very end of the game when they walked off, like super sassy for whatever reason, didn't help either.
Yeah, Randle doesn't want to be there. It makes sense at the end of the day, but hopefully Minnesota can get it together, man, because it's Minnesota has a history. You know what I mean? They've botched it for years.
Because of Glenn Taylor again.
Yeah, they've never been able to really surround their generational talent. I don't know if I'd consider Ant generational, but you know what I mean. They've botched their franchise players in the past. They botched Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Love.
They botched Kevin Love. They never even made it to the playoffs with Kevin Love. That just can't happen, bro. That can't happen.
He was like a side story that year too that he was playing very well.
Bro, he had a 30-30 game.
No,
he had
you
multiple
cannot-
30-30
You
games,
cannot.
I think.
How long was he there? 6 or 7 years?
Like, yeah.
8 maybe. There's no
He
way.
got drafted in 2009, and he only came over in 2014.
And listen, some people don't see this player highly as I do, but Ricky Rubio is a pretty damn good point guard. You know what I mean?
You saw what he did on the Cavs.
solid.
You saw what he did everywhere else.
Yeah,
He's solid.
he's a pretty damn good point guard.
I actually would say Cat is a generational talent, though. Now I think about it, how many shooting bigs do you see like that?
Yeah, I
I think
understand.
you could have built around him, but I think Glenn Taylor is. Bro, that team sucks.
Yeah, you could have. You could.
Yeah.
You can definitely put Cat in a better position. But every franchise player that they've had, they've botched it. They've botched it every single time. And I'm not hoping they botch it this time. Maybe next year they figure something out. But they have a bad history, and Ant deserves more. However, on the topic of Ant, I do believe Ant is not doing his best to promote the team winning. I really do. I think he's taking way too many threes. I think it's jeopardizing his impact. And I do think teams are more comfortable with him shooting threes than him attacking the rim. I do think that. And I think they prefer that he chuck them up. I really do think. And it's working. You know what I mean? It's part of the reason why, not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons why that team's not able to produce at the same level they were last year.
I'll tell you why I don't. Go ahead. My bad. I thought you were done. My bad.
No, I was just gonna say, like, there's a variety of moving pieces that suck in Minnesota right now, and by no means is Anthony Edwards at the top of that list. He's probably nowhere near the top, but I think it is fair to say there are things that he could adjust to help the team a little more. But they should probably just trade Randle.
He's missing that thing that a lot of superstars, even when they're good scorers, have the ability to facilitate.
No. That's what I wanted to say. Let me say this real quick because I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
His potential assist numbers have gone up. His team is not hitting shots. So rather than him relying on driving and being able to kick out, he's taking more shots. He's making more passes than he did last year. But he's surrounded by non-shooters. McDaniels is not a shooter. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is not a shooter. Randle has not been the best shooter. He's obviously percentage-wise, he's getting
down.
up there.
Yeah.
DiVincenzo is not a good shooter. Nas Reed is kind of all over the place. He's streaky. He is facilitating. He is passing. He's making those passes. He's just surrounded by people that cannot hit shots because Cat is gone. If Cat's gone, those potential passes turn into shots. He's shooting 5 threes a game. Randle's shooting, 3, I think? Maybe 3? And he's converting on 36% of them compared to a big who's shooting 5 and hitting 40%. That matters. Like that impacts the game. So he's taking more shots because nobody else is. I think he is genuinely keeping them in the games.
I mean, regardless, he's their best player. So whatever he does at a high fashion, which is make 3-point shots, take more 3-point shots, I mean, it hasn't changed. So it's not something the coach is really looking at, something that could be detrimental to the team. He's taking the same amount, the whole year. So I just think at the end of the day, having a potential pass and an assist are two different things. And I know players aren't making shots. I get that, Tyler, 100%. But that doesn't knock away from, I guess, him not being still the best facilitator. Because it's not like they're running a pick and roll with him. He's not the main guy on the pick and rolls. He's like, it's more of a Mike Conley thing or whoever the point guard is.
Who has been trash. Mike
Yeah,
Conley
he has
not been good.
So I think they need to put him in more sets where he could kind of help people get in rhythm and take away from the other player's defender to help them get easy baskets, not just 3-point shots. But I don't think that's on him. I think that's more of the coach too. Like to put him.
Yeah, I don't
in
think
those
Anthony
positions.
Edwards is a facilitator, but I think you can trust him with the ball.
Every great player has to learn.
He
how to
can
pass.
make decisions. I wouldn't say he's a bad passer or anything. He's not a facilitator. It's not his job to get people involved, but he can. He.
What the hell?
It was that man's job to get people involved.
LeBron is taking wild shots.
Pulled that man from
2 minutes into the game.
the third.
But yeah, I think potential assist is nice and all, but there's factors to everything, and I don't know. I don't think the Wolves are playing their best brand of basketball, and it all starts with the trade. I think the trade was the wrong decision.
I can't I understand for money, but you're still a second apron team anyway.
I think the Knicks
you're
would
still
still be a
screwed.
good team with Randle on there.
Yeah, I think the Knicks. I think the Knicks might have been a little.
They're the winner.
I think they would be worse.
Yeah, I think they'd be worse. I think Michael Bridges would be playing a little better because he'd be the primary person receiving those shots that Cat is. Yeah. But like Cat is better for them.
But he's not
a better
making the shots
rebounder.
he's getting, so why would he make the other ones?
Yeah.
Because he's getting a different type of pass. He's getting late game dump offs. He's shooting more mid ranges than he ever has. That's been his game lately.
So we could agree the Knicks won this trade, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We agreed. I think back then.
But like how much though? By like a landslide? You guys think? You think
Originally it wasn't a landslide because I did have questions of how well Cat could fit, but I'm watching it live now, and not literally, but you know what I mean. I'm watching it as it's unfolding throughout the season, and yes, it is a landslide right now. The Knicks aren't playing how I would have expected them to play at all. Cat's their leading scorer. That would have never been my prediction.
That I will say has been surprising.
Yeah.
I never expected Jalen Brunson to average as many assists as he is.
Exactly.
Not saying that I knew, but I had a feeling Cat was gonna get some buckets. This like the players they have, everything kind of fits for him. Like a point guard who can draw away his defender. People
good rebounding forward and Josh
exactly
Hart.
People who can and no one on the Knicks you would say is very selfish. You can't like look at them and be like, oh, he's a selfish player. Like everybody's willing to make that extra pass. Within OG, Mikal, obviously Jalen averaging 8. So I just feel like it's the perfect fit for Cat when it comes to like the players. You have strong defenders. You know, your job is not to protect the rim. You know, you have people who will stay in front of their men. Like he's going to be able to kind of coexist here and live and make a lot of money after this too if he doesn't decide to stay with the Knicks as well.
He's also a New York kid or New Jersey. I forget which, but
New Jersey.
I think somebody who deserves a lot more credit than what he's getting is Tom Thibodeau. I think there's not a lot of credit being given to him over the years, but when you really look at it in a blanket, it's very difficult to say he's anything but a phenomenal coach. You know what I mean? Like look at his years in the league. What he was able to do with the Bulls, how he was able to make something out of Jimmy Butler. I think he deserves credit for that. Of course, Jimmy Butler put in the work to be who he is at the end of the day. But there's nothing that forced Thibodeau to say, I trust you, Jimmy. Go out there and do something. You know what I mean? There's nothing that forced him to do that. He chose to do that. He chose to give him a chance. Jimmy Butler responded correctly and became Jimmy Butler. That team with Randle and Wade, actually, he wasn't there, so I'll skip that. My bad. But that team in Minnesota, that team, Jimmy, of course, another big factor. But you got to admit, Thibodeau made a difference to how that team plays, the culture that team had. And on the Knicks, I think he deserves the most credit because most credit out of all the teams he's been is what I mean. Because he's had to adjust, and he has shown I can adjust. I can be a coach to whatever you put in front of me, and I will make it work. Cat's not a Thibodeau player. By no means is Cat. I don't think Cat checks a single box that you would say a Thibodeau player would.
Not at all.
He
plays good in his systems as an offensive player.
He's arguably the worst defensive center right now still.
Yeah, he is one of the worst.
And they still make that team work.
Yeah, he's the worst defensive center in the NBA. He does not like to post up as much as he should. Thibodeau's using him in the post as much as he can. He's a volume shooter. You know, Thibodeau's not a fan. It's he's not a Thibodeau player, and Thibodeau is making sure, I don't care who you are, we're going to make this shit work. So I do believe Tibbs deserves a lot of credit for what he's doing.
He deserves a lot because remember, he was a defensive coach. We all viewed him as a defensive coach. He has an offensive system now, like a very good offensive system.
I think it was smart how they did it. It's like we don't have to play a defensive system as long as we have defensive players. And I think that's a very smart way of doing it. It's like I don't have to go into practice every day and emphasize what our switches are going to be, what are, how much we're going to help, when are we going to sag, when are we going to rotate, you know what I mean? I don't have to go through all that in practice because I got dogs on my team. They going to play defense. They don't care what I tell them to do. They're going to go out there and play their asses off. They're going to pick up full court. They're going to play the passing lanes perfectly, and now I was like, okay, well, let's get y'all to score now. Let's put the ball in a situation where you guys can find opportunities to score. And I don't know if it's going to last long, but, Brunson's not even the primary scorer right now. Cat's playing phenomenal. I think Michael Bridges, of course, could play a lot better. But
I think he'll pick it up at some point.
I think he just has to fit into a role. Yeah. I think he has to accept that it might be time to go back to Phoenix days. You had fun. Devin Booker When Devin Booker was out, you had your fun. You showed out. You can hoop. You know, people paid you a lot of money for it. Brooklyn, they made you the number one option. Great job. You know, but you're on the Knicks now. We low-key need the Phoenix guy. We need that role player. We need that two-way guy. We need you to knock down some threes and lock up on defense. That's it. You don't got to do nothing else. Probably don't even got to dribble the ball. You know what I mean? We got Brunson for that. You know, we even like Anunoby a little bit more than we like you. So at this point, just take some shots and lock in. You know what I mean?
What I like about Bridges, though, he's very smart. Bridges started adopting more mid-range game because he associated the mid-range with the playoffs because, you know, the three is really not available. So he kind of locked into that. So I think he's smart enough to figure out what he needs to do.
Yeah, I think he'll figure it out.
Yeah, he's too good of a
smart player. He's a smart ass player.
Yeah, he is. He comes from a great culture from college. You know what I mean? Like that the Villanova team. Villanova's
all those
phenomenally
players.
coached. Yeah, all those players.
They found a way. Josh Hart found a way to be like an amazing player last year, above average player.
A 6'4" forward, averaging 10 rebounds a game in the playoffs,
and also another 8 to 6 assists a game. So you got to give. I mean, that tree of players like that come from that Villanova team. They're just gonna figure it out. Like that's why I think Nas has DiVincenzo so high up regarded because I think he feels he's gonna figure it out eventually.
Bro, Josh Hart. Let's talk about this for a second. Josh Hart's averaging 14
60%.
points,
62.
8 rebounds, 6 assists, 60% from the field. He is 6'4", ladies
I
and
looked
gentlemen.
it up last night and I was like, "What?" And he's shooting threes.
Yeah,
it's not like he's not shooting
Bro,
threes.
that's what I'm talking about, bro.
Go back. Look at his 2-point percentage, 75%.
That's crazy. He's leading the league in 2-point percentage. He's 6'4". He's 6'4". And actually, a fun fact that I just discovered today or yesterday when I was talking about it in the chat, he doesn't even take mid-range jumpers. He has 2. I literally saw it. I think I talked about it in the chat yesterday or today. I literally just saw it when I was looking up. I was looking up Giannis's mid-range shooting, but I saw him and he's made all his mid-range shots, all but 2 of them, and so that's all in the paint. That's all layups, and he's literally making that. I was like, I love players like Josh Hart. Players like Josh Hart make the game of basketball so easy. They just make playing basketball so easy. I don't got to do nothing. I just got to go out there and just do what the coaches want me to do. Jalen Brunson, bro, you barely got to play defense for real. Like, listen, these guys behind me, they're dogs, bro.
3 dogs surrounding you.
Blow by me all you want. They're going to hound you as soon as you do. You know what I mean? Like, and that's something that, you know, D'Lo hasn't had the luxury of. D'Lo's a phenomenal player. I mentioned it because we're watching him right now. D'Lo's a phenomenal player, but he's never had that luxury of having that group of dogs behind him and for him to be able to be free and be who he wants. Mm-hmm. I don't think highly of D'Lo, so what I'm saying right now does kind of, you know, counteract that, but it's true. D'Lo's never had that type of group around him, and players like Brunson, not to say Brunson's some trash defender, but, you know, he's not phenomenal. He's not here to lock anybody down.
He's athletically limited. He's small. He's small arms. He's 6'1", I think.
When you got dogs on your team, it's like you have the freedom to just go out there and be you, and all these guys got your back. And guys like Josh Hart, Caruso's having a bit of a slow start, but when he's doing his best, Caruso is another great example of guys who they're just worried about doing the right thing. And that gets you paid, bro. That gets you paid. Look at Caruso. Caruso made more money than he should have ever made in history. You know what I mean? Like, even his little 8 to 10 million, that's more than he should have ever been making. You know what I mean? But he's highly regarded by GMs because, like, this kid, he's going to result in some extra wins this year. You know what I mean? Like, whether we're a trash team or a good team, we're going to win more games because we're happy.
Gives him another perimeter defender, too, with Dort. So they have, like, that lineup, that depth lineup on defense with Dort, him, and Shea. It wreaks a lot of havoc. So, yeah, he was well-deserving. He was any player that wins a championship and goes to another team is going to get paid. That's just the history behind that.
But usually it's like the Timothy Mozgovs and stuff like that where they play terrible. He is like...
He played good in the finals.
He's great everywhere he goes. He's a legitimate ball handler as well.
Yeah, the thing is, defense is something that's effort, and he's one of those players that had to build himself up to be who he is now. It wasn't something that was God-given talent. We can say that about Alex Caruso. That's hard work.
I mean, 100%. I think the same thing is for Josh Hart. It really is hard work, and players like we talked about it on our last podcast a couple of weeks ago. Is players like Draymond Green make careers off of that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I
energy.
can't force myself to just try to be this egotistical guy and be like, oh no, I want to get buckets. I want to have fun out there. It's like, listen, playing basketball is fun. And that's how a lot of these guys view it. You know what I mean? Doing the right thing is fun. Doing what my team needs me to do is fun for me. Winning is fun for me. And if this is what the team needs for me to win, I'm going to do it. And players like that make the game of basketball so easy for
They
stars.
usually have a really long career. Tony Allen's, the Draymond Greens, anywhere they go, they're very respected. Even if they're not playing, they're in a vet situation. They're respected. Their voice is accepted. Rashid, I think it's Rasheed Wallace. Even he was respected after he left Detroit. He was actually very high sought, and people wanted to sign him. When you have, it's like that saying, like I'd rather him be on my team than play against him.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of players in the NBA that we can say that anymore.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Wow.
Goodness, AD.
Jesus
You just gobbled that up.
Just snatch that.
Oh my gosh, the cancer of the team.
But it's like Ben Wallace. Like Ben Wallace doesn't even really score, and like everybody wanted him in the team because defensively you're set.
Yeah, but Josh Hart, man, he's doing phenomenal things. I didn't even know that's the numbers he was putting up.
I saw it the other day. I was like 75% from two is wild. Even if it's only layups, centers don't do that.
No, facts.
Centers don't do that.
No, that's facts. Shout out to Josh Hart, man. Not to focus on him too much, but a lot of players are playing phenomenal this year, man. I love to see it. Some surprises too, but Nikola Jokic is having himself a season. Listen, we were wrong about him because we definitely all had the consensus that he was not a top 3 MVP candidate coming into the season, and I think he is the MVP.
He still might not be because the Nuggets are not playing that well. That's
no, every MVP ladder I've seen, he's been number one.
But that's currently, if the Nuggets don't pick it up and they're a 5th seed, do you still think he'll be number one?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think with the numbers he's putting up, it will carry him to number one, 100%. I still think at the pace they're going now that he's back. Let me see where they're at right now. Now that he's back, they were losing some games because he was gone.
6th seed?
They're 9-7 right now. Yeah, at the pace that they're going, I think they can easily still jump into a top 4 seed. I think Jokic can carry them to that. But anywhere in the top 6, I think it's already been proven that if your numbers are historical enough, you can get an MVP award. And if he's the first center in history to average a triple-double, that's gonna mean something to the voters.
Yeah. It's like this should have been happening. Like, no offense, like I'm saying he had a system to play into, but regardless, it's happening now, and we can't deny greatness. Like that's one thing that we cannot deny. And him winning an MVP, it's not like there's any other player that's giving us what he's giving us right now. I mean, I can't really even think of it. There's narratives, the storylines.
The only one close enough.
The only storyline I think about is Jason Tatum's storyline. Like, there's storylines, but I don't think there's a...
AD's definitely an MVP candidate right now.
That's another one, too, but statistically speaking, I mean, the hands that Jokic got in so many different categories is
I think
insane.
Jokic is the favorite for MVP for sure.
I don't think it's an argument
Jokic is like LeBron from the 2010s when it comes to stats. Like these outwardly stats that nobody compares to.
Yeah.
That's Jokic now.
And the thing is... Yeah, go ahead.
At one point in the season, of course it's an early season, but at one point in the season he was leading the league in rebounds and assists.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
And he was top 3 in points.
That's not normal, bro. That's not normal at all. He's not leading in assists anymore, but he is still leading in rebounds.
Is he not leading in assists?
No, Trae Young is leading in assists now.
Trae Young, you literally dipped his scoring to average more assists.
His assists went down. Jokic was getting a lot of triple-doubles. His triple-doubles slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
He's down to like 10 points.
I'm not going to lie. I do be surprised sometimes that he doesn't average a triple. I mean, I sound really, bad, but I'd be surprised that he doesn't average a triple-double more often than what he does. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
It's the assists. His team has to hit the shots.
Yeah.
And Jamal Murray is fucking shitting the bed.
Bro, he is regressing like a
Well, don't get me started on Jamal Murray, man.
We don't have to.
We was talking about it, man. We was talking about it before the podcast. Bro, let me tell y'all about my man Jamal Murray. Y'all man's Jamal Murray. Let me tell you how on John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, he was front and center at that game. Front and center. Middle of the NBA season. No, beginning of the NBA season. Your team's not doing good. Jokic is out for a couple more games at that point. He's back now, but at that point, he was out for a couple more games. You're out here fucking enjoying, my bad, YouTube, enjoying freaking John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Phenomenal fight, by the way.
Fight.
Love John Jones. Favorite fighter of all time. Greatest fighter of all time. But either way, He's out there front and center, just enjoying his life. And what happens the next day? He loses a game. Plays terribly, by the way.
He's probably fucked up. I mean, effed up. I learned that about sports betting. These are humans too, bro. Like, they're going to go out. I mean, I'm not saying that he's right, but they're going to go out and get drunk and go play the next night. I don't think those two things
Why
equate.
don't you do that on your off days?
That's what Wnba
What's
did
his
during
off
the
day?
No, I'm
It
saying
just led to the
he
other
played
day's
the
work
next
day.
game.
Yeah, it led to his
your
work
off
day.
day is when you don't play the next day. That's an off day.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I
'Cause
thought
he-
the off day was because I'm off today.
He
I don't
did it
play.
the next week. I finally found the quote. So that, like, literally the next week after that, there's another instance where they beat LA and they stayed in LA afterwards. And he's like, "It's a long season. Guys have lives outside of basketball. We just beat LA in LA. We've got some guys that live in LA, so we stayed in LA." They go out partying. He stinks it up against the Knicks. Did you guys see how bad he played against the Knicks?
Bro, it was
No.
145
God, it was
to
terrible.
like.
Bro, they lost by 38, I think.
Yeah, the team scored 145 points on them.
Yeah, they had 110, I think.
Yeah, it's like you gotta understand. Like it's the same thing I was saying earlier, man. The loser mentality of this generation is like, of course you have lives, man. We get it, but like there's a time and a place, bro. Like at the end of my biggest problem
David
with
Stern would be rolling in his grave right now.
my biggest problem with this generation is the entitlement to think to yourselves like, because you're the richest people on earth, like you don't have to be living by the same standards as other people. At the end of the day, you're working your job. You know what I mean? Like, this is your job. You have a boss. Whether you want to see it that way or not, you have a boss. In some sense of the word, people actually own you. They're paying you.
You make $50 million a year to play.
Yeah, in some sense of the word, they basically own you. You know
I'm
what
not
I
gonna
mean?
say that.
They
That's a little
do.
crazy.
You do what they tell you to do. At the end of the day,
You don't have enough
know what I mean?
melanin for that tower.
It's just a fact, you know. And I'm not talking no slavery shit, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
like,
I'm messing around.
it's
Kinda
just
feels
like
like it.
it's a fact. and you know, they do have lives, but there's a time and a place. Like you couldn't figure out another time.
Should have made that.
First of all, you're making $50 million a year. You're telling me you can't make your way to LA. How far do you live from LA? A few hours?
Yeah, Denver's
Like,
not far. It's maybe a 2-hour
down the,
flight.
it's down the street, bro. Like you can get on a jet and go to LA. When
You probably own a private jet with how much money you've made in your
Not
career.
even that. You're the owner of the team. Probably will lend you it.
You will be back in LA soon. You know what I mean? Like, this is a team you're gonna play 4 times this year. Like you'll be back here at least one other time.
Y'all
you know
can
what I mean?
celebrate 6 times. You're gonna beat us every single time.
I'm not gonna lie, Grayson Allen really did get swole. I thought they were joking around. He really did gain like at least a good 40 pounds of
That's a
muscle.
Zodiac killer. I've
Bro.
seen some sketches.
Oh
Man.
God.
Nah, he got pretty swole, bro. Like that shit's crazy. But Randle,
He started putting focus onto working out instead of kicking people in the nuts.
But I guess that's enough with Jamal Murray today. Another player though that's playing pretty good is LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is playing phenomenal basketball.
He's playing out of his mind.
I
Even though I want to say a lot of good things about him, there are some negatives that I would like to share. My opinion of LaMelo Ball.
man.
Yeah, there are. It was all a trap. I put it on the list just because I wanted to bash
Rob
him.
is just in pain right now.
But no, I'll give you my honest opinion about LaMelo Ball. I don't truly believe that his brand of basketball can lead a team to success. That's really my opinion. I think he enjoys the difficult shots, and difficult shots aren't good. Like it's not conducive to winning. It's not.
I think he's a player that is offensively gifted, and if you put some seriousness behind him, maybe another player who takes it serious, he does take up. But if they don't ever do that, or if he doesn't ever get that for his career, he's just another Jamal Crawford to me. Just those like we were talking about earlier, just those scores that really don't really mean anything at the end of the day. T-Max, players like that yeah, it's cool, 13 seconds, but like show me your hardware, show me your all-stars, show me how healthy you were the whole season. Give me something. And he'll be just one of those players that, like, you know, we talk about, but we talk about like as like very uber talented. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is for him.
So he's going to be great. He just might not win.
I'd compare him more to like a Gilbert Arenas. I
like that comparison a lot. Actually, that's a really good
not
comparison.
from a play style perspective, from a mentality perspective. I think if he continues to play the way that he plays, he just doesn't attract a winning culture. I think I think a lot of us get clouded by the highlights, and I do hate that about basketball this generation. I think we get so clouded by the highlights and how fancy and how interesting players look, we don't realize how every little thing that they're doing impacts the game.
Yeah.
He takes too many difficult shots. It's not necessary. It's really not necessary. And like, what is it doing for your team? What that's my point. What are all these shots doing for your team? Like,
What are the Hornets'
you winning
record?
games because of it? Like, sure, you're slightly better than you've been in the past. Sure, I'll give you that. But like, are you getting better every year? Like, what free agents are looking to come here? You know what I
6
mean?
and 11. They're worse than the Pistons.
Where are they on the playoff?
12.
Yeah, that's bad. The 50 points don't mean nothing. to
And
me
we were
anymore.
debating that they should be a playing team this year. You know what I mean? And at 12 seed, they still could be. They could still rise up for sure. But that's my opinion on LaMelo Ball. I think he's in a similar stage to Luka, where he plays the game in a far too difficult way. He hasn't reached the point where he tries to make the game easy for himself. I even think Jason Tatum is still in that phase of his life too. They haven't found the ease to the game. You know, what am I gonna do to make this game easier? I don't want
maturity though.
I don't want to score the hard way. I don't want to make it difficult for myself or my team, because once teams realize that I can do this easily, now I attract the attention that I need
Scout
to
reports.
get my team involved. You know what I mean? Like, Jokic isn't out here doing nothing fancy. You know what I mean? Once the world sees that I can do this basic ass stuff and get buckets and dominate y'all, now the world's afraid of me. Now it's like, damn, Jokic is coming into town, right? Giannis isn't out there doing nothing fancy. Hey, ain't nothing fancy about his footwork. Ain't nothing fancy about his jump shot. The man's just athletically gifted.
Nice in the post though. That's the only thing I'll give him. But
Not even the post. He don't even really have any post.
I don't
moves.
think there's anything fancy about Giannis's game. He doesn't do anything interesting. The man's just long. He can dunk a lot, which is exciting, of course. But that's all athletic gift.
Oh,
That's-
Giannis. Never mind. I thought we said
Tatum-
Jokic. My bad.
Yeah, no, Jokic supposed to.
Oh yeah, Jokic has
Tatum
some-
even
No,
has
Giannis is all heart and hustle and
Right.
grit. And
Once the players who can get it done the easiest are the players who dominate and win. You look at the best players in NBA history, they're just hitting you with a move or two and getting to what they need to get to. That's it. I'm not here for all the extra stuff. I'm coming to work and doing what I'm told. You know what I mean? Come to work and do what you're told and win.
Nobody cares how you win.
Nobody.
As long as you win.
Nobody.
No one's gonna look at it.
Nobody.
We're not gonna look back 30 years from now and be like, the Bucks only won 60 games because Giannis was dunking all the time. They won 60 games, bro. That's all that matters.
Listen, I don't know. I
so
don't know.
James Harden was pissed.
I don't know. Right? I don't know how long until we can say that there's going to be a better power forward in the history of basketball than Tim Duncan. It might be a long time, because who knows who's going to be able to be that accomplished.
Yeah.
Win an MVP, multiple MVPs, win multiple
Playing
championships.
the most boring brand of basketball.
we never even got to see like Tim Duncan unleashed.
Exactly.
I think we always got like 60 to
We can't.
70%.
No, don't agree with him. Don't agree with him because this is pop slander. This is what he's trying to do. He's trying to, bro's trying to do some pop slander right here, and you disagree with him.
Bye-bye.
Anytime he says unleashed, he's talking about pop.
Oh no. No, that's not.
Three podcasts later.
We're not gonna do that again. You're wrong.
No, that's not the point I was trying to make. But
Definitely me, but I will do that later.
yeah, we can save that for another day.
Get
But
well, Pop. Get well, though. All
either
jokes
way,
aside.
my point is, it's like these guys have to realize it's not about the highlights. But like I get it, you know what I mean? It's hard. It's very hard to go out there and mature at that level. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. It's a difficult thing to do. It takes time. It takes experience. But your favorite player didn't win like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Kobe wasn't out here winning like that. Jordan wasn't out here winning like
Kobe
that.
started winning when it got easier again.
Exactly.
Not when he was dropping 50, 40 points again.
Like what you know, Shaq has 3 championships. What's fancy about his game?
Not
it's
4.
catch, drop, step, and dunk. That's it. If I can do that every time, I'm gonna continue to do it. You know what I mean?
do
And
that on everybody in the league.
everybody catch, drop, step, dunk.
Same
Okay,
thing with
cool.
Bron. Bron, go to the hole. Either I go left or right. And then when he finally got a post-up move, that's when things really changed for him.
Even Steph Curry. Steph Curry is just I'm gonna catch the ball. I'm gonna shoot immediately. I'm not gonna try to do a step back. I'm not gonna do a spin jumper or nothing. I'm not gonna try to snatch back. I'm gonna shoot the ball. And it's gonna go in.
Simplicity is everything when it comes to basketball
Yep.
because what that does is open doors where now LeBron can have a half court, like a cross court pass, or Curry now can pump fake and get to the basket like he does now. I mean, he's developed his inside game tremendously, I think, since their first championship. Curry has.
Yeah.
So now he has the ability to get inside. It's just layers to
He's
basketball.
an elite finisher. He's been an elite finisher since 2015.
I could.
Bro, it's crazy.
I don't think.
He statistically, he is an elite finisher. Steph Curry.
Curry's an elite finisher. Yeah, I could agree with that.
He's an elite finisher.
I don't know if 2015, but
no, since our first MVP.
Yeah, at a guard, yeah, he's a great finisher for sure.
he only he takes like maybe 5 or 4 layups a game, but when he does take it, he's making every one of those because he's wide open.
No, like through contact, he was finishing more than Kyrie Irving.
Man, that's
Kyrie
actually
Irving
a
can
crazy
finish.
stat.
Yeah.
That's a crazy stat. Because Kyrie Irving, that's his game.
But no, that's how Curry just it doesn't. You don't talk about it because his shooting is so crazy.
Yeah,
Like that's what people gravitate towards. But because he's such a good shooter, he's able to finish well because people are expecting the pass
of course.
or the shot. Sorry,
Yeah. Wow, that was a great play.
that's
your boy Nas, and he looks really good with LeBron. Like he looks very good with LeBron. He's like
balling out.
Yeah, he's like a. I mean, I really don't want to put. He's like a young Kyle Korver to me. Very young Kyle Korver.
I think he's very unique. I don't think he's like shooters that we've seen before.
He has the ability to cut to get to the basket, which is amazing.
I think he's phenomenal off the ball.
He's just really bad defender. I'm sorry.
this is gonna be a hot take. I think he's a lot like Duncan Robinson.
Yeah,
he's a great finisher.
I can see that.
Duncan Robinson is not a good defender. Don't do that to him.
Duncan Robinson is a great what?
He's not a good defender, bro. He is not, bro.
Since
what?
when?
Since forever.
2020?
I've never known Duncan Robinson as a straight defender. People attack Duncan Robinson.
Not since 2020. I promise you, if you go back and watch
when he
any
got
game-
into the league.
No, he's
Nah,
been
he's
in
been in the
since
league for like
2018.
he's been. In the
But
league
either
for-
way, Dalton Connect is not a horrible defender. He's not at all.
His comp to me is Duncan Robinson.
He did have a terrible defensive play there, though.
He's a
But
rookie, bro. You
I
can
like
make
him.
mistakes.
Kind of
Yeah.
like, I mean, was Tyler Hero off the dribble when he first came in the league, or was he still? He was a set shooter more, right?
Yeah, but he's a god awful.
no, he's always been off the dribble.
Off the dribble. Well,
He's
never
on a
mind.
set shot.
I would have gave that comp, but I don't. If he doesn't have to off the dribble.
Talking
then
about
no.
shots, though, you saw James Harden second all time.
Yeah,
points?
James Harden.
Congrats to James. For sure. He deserves it.
Yeah, that's
Number one
dope.
3-point
I would-
shooter ever.
I would argue that he's first because to me, Steph Curry is like the Wilt of 3-point shooting.
He said the same thing. He's like, I'm number one.
Yeah.
And Steph Curry kind of like gave that to him in a way, in a weird, competitive way. Because like no one's getting. Steph Curry's got him beat by like 1,000. It's insane.
Listen, I get it, but like at the end of the
It's a
day,
joke.
Stephen Curry is number one. I get it, all for the games, but like nobody's catching Stephen Curry. Well, I do think it's possible. I think at the rate that people shoot threes at this point,
I don't
eventually-
think there's a. Well, I mean, what player would it be right now that you guys?
I'm not saying right now, but I will definitely see somebody pass Stephen Curry.
I actually think it's easier than people think because Steph Curry started behind Monte Ellis for a lot of his career, and he had all the years of injury.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, at the
it's,
rate-
it's
Insane.
possible.
Now that I think about it, he probably had 5,000 threes if he stayed healthy.
5,000.
no, probably
think-
not 5,000, but he could have been closer to
How many
4,000.
How many threes do you average in a season? What, like 200 to 300?
He's averaging like 300.
Bro,
He's averaging under 300.
All
Averaging.
averaging those. What he missed, like 2 or 3 seasons. I mean, it's close to 5,000. It's real close.
He would be closer. He's never missed a full season of basketball. One season, I believe. One season.
But also
Recently,
remember,
he missed that one
he wasn't a
year.
one and done with Davidson. He came in at 21.
He would have been
take that into
closer.
account.
So he would have been closer to 4,000. That's for sure. But the time that he was playing behind Monte Ellis wasn't that long. He was a starter on the Warriors when he got
That was a great
drafted.
move. That's just.
He was
No, he wasn't starting his first 2 seasons or his
Yeah,
first
he was
season.
definitely started, or
Not
at
his
least
first
started
season.
for some of that season. But either way, he still was a rookie, and Curry was not drafted as our next generational talent.
No.
He became that. So, like, I don't think him not having Monte Ellis was going to drastically impact how many threes he would have made. But he started from his rookie season.
did. You're right.
He was a starter
I was wrong.
from his rookie season, so I don't think there were
Yeah,
any.
they started him and Monte Ellis together.
Yeah.
Actually.
He played 36 minutes per game. Yeah, there wouldn't have been any changes to his threes. I think the only changes that we can talk about is the seasons that he was injured, which is really just one. He missed 1 year where he played 5 games, and that's it. So
That was
He's
recent,
also
right?
23. You can't forget about that one.
No,
third year in the
if he
league?
played at least third year. Okay, I didn't see that one. Okay, yeah,
he's missed
we
a couple
we
seasons.
can count
He's
that
missed
one
like
too.
a couple big seasons.
But
even recently, that Warriors season when
the
they lost,
5,000. That's what we're talking
No,
about. Like
I'm thinking.
5,000.
I'm thinking
think he'll
at
be
most 4,200.
He'd
At
be
most.
closer to 4,000. That's
do
where
you
I would
guys
put
think
him.
he's gonna get 5,000?
No, he can't get 5,000.
If he wasn't injured, if those injuries never happened, would
That's
he
only-
get 5,000?
That's at most. You're giving 3 seasons of 300 threes. He's at what?
That's an extra 900.
I keep saying it. He would be closer to 4,000. That's what
I
he would
agree
be
with
like.
you. I agree with
He
you.
would be closer to 4,000 right now. He would need 1,000 more threes. I don't think he's gonna shoot that many
So
threes.
right now he's at 3,800. If you give him,
He's gonna be at 4,000 by the end of this year.
Oh, I didn't realize he was at 3,800.
yeah,
So,
actually, no,
yeah,
he'd
yeah,
be
yeah.
actually, he would be 5,000.
I thought he was in the lower 3,000.
No, no.
He's
That's
at
what I-
3,800.
that's why I
Yeah,
said
he
what I
would be.
said.
He would
Oh,
be.
so then that was wrong.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't be at 5,000.
That's why I asked how many he averages
By the
a
end of his
season.
career, if he doesn't get injured those 2 years, he's easily at 5,000.
Oh no, I'm talking about like right now. I'm talking about right now.
That's what
yeah.
he's saying. If he
At
doesn't
the
get
end of
injured.
his career, yeah.
It
That would
depends
be
how
more
much.
possible.
If he plays like 3 or 4 more seasons, which I don't know if that's
Nah.
possible. 3 or 4 more seasons, I think he
3
can get
seasons for Curry, 100%.
4?
100%.
it. I mean, if he does 3 and he has a crazy ass season though, like he can reach that.
I don't think he has
He's
that in him anymore.
he's already shooting less threes and he's making less threes though.
Yeah, I don't think
he's already going
I don't
down.
think
His team's playing a lot better too.
I don't think he has that in him anymore. I think he's and not because he's a lesser player, but it's just age is going to catch up to him.
Uh-huh.
He needs a lesser workload throughout his career. He's not gonna. He doesn't have that level of MVP in him anymore.
I will say this: he's become a LeBron player, where like his impact isn't something they're worried about. It's really like they're worried about it, but they're not really worried about it until like the playoffs. That's when the players, like the real players, come to play.
I would argue that Steph Curry has more impact on the game still than LeBron because of his gravity.
Yeah, I think
Or
Curry-
similar, at least.
Curry is still Curry. NBA players, that's one thing I'll never agree with. NBA players do not view other competition the way that fans do. Yeah. We may see LeBron, for example, as he's starting to show signs of regressing, or his numbers aren't what they used to be once upon a time. We may view that. What is that against each other?
Never mind.
That's against each other. That's insane.
We may view them that way as fans, but I promise you, I'll bet all the money in my life that NBA players do not look at LeBron like, oh my God, LeBron's only averaging 23.
Nah.
It's a cakewalk today. They're looking at LeBron as the same LeBron that he was when he was 25, when he was 30. They don't care. It's LeBron. He's going to kill if he wants to kill. And the same with Curry. I don't think any player is going to look at Curry like, oh well, Curry is getting older. He's taking less shots. Like, no. It's Curry. We gotta lock in.
You still got to chase Curry around 6,000 screens. You still have to run 3 miles a game playing against him, and he's still going to hit 45% on his threes.
One player that I could tell you for sure. Oh, go ahead. Never mind. I was trying to say
One player that I could tell you for sure that has regressed.
Oh, you just try to steal my segue.
I said it first.
No, but you can't tell me that that's what you were gonna say.
I was going to talk about Westbrook.
Oh, you cheater.
I was going to talk about Westbrook.
All right, well, since
I
we're
was
on
going
the
to talk about
topic
his
now.
impact. I was going to say his impact on his new team is actually pretty well.
Yeah, I guess. But either way, Westbrook just hit the 200 mark for a triple double.
Yep.
They give him a piece of paper. They give him a piece of
With
paper
a pencil.
and a big pen.
Isn't that what it was for everybody though? Hasn't that always been what it is?
There's only 2 people we've ever seen.
It's
No,
Sharpies.
we've seen players do that.
Devin
when
Booker
they
had a
have-
Sharpie.
Devin Booker
Donovan
had a
Mitchell
Sharpie
did
for
it.
71.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I never really paid attention.
I can
but-
tell you one thing, though. I'm going to lie to people in 40 years. I'm going to say I watched that game, and they don't have video recording of it, just like Wilt's 100-point
They
game.
will, though.
And that was actually not 200 triple-doubles. That was 200 points. That's what I'm going to tell people.
That's crazy. But shout out to Russell Westbrook, man. 200 triple doubles is a lot. And Tyler's kids, if you watch this, it was not 200
You
points.
will not be watching this because I will not be having kids.
All right. Well, people who Tyler talks to, if you're watching this, do not believe him. But shout out to Russell Westbrook. You know, I have a lot of negative things to say about Russell Westbrook usually, but
Not today.
Bro, still puts up with negativity.
Good
on
for
me.
him.
Not today. Let
No,
him
I
have
nothing
this.
to say today. Nothing to say today. Good for him. I think he's doing a good job in Denver.
Dropped 24 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
Insane. That's
In a game they
insane.
lost
He's
by-
actually shooting probably the best 3-point shooting I think he's ever had in his career.
in the
I
game
think
they
he's at
lost
like
by 30,
36%.
but it's okay.
He's also one of their more consistent players.
Okay. Look at this.
Yeah, he's doing.
Were you
he's-
born a hater? Or is it like a natural progression? Is this like how does this work?
That's another thing you're stealing from me.
I know.
That is my thing. But either way,
But they've never heard it.
shout out to Russell Westbrook. He's doing a great job, but
Oh my God. He shot 38% from 3.
is he really? 38?
Right now, he's shooting
Shoot
38.
38% from three.
Yeah, I saw a stat. He's shooting better than Curry. He's shooting better than a lot of people
Not Curry.
right now.
Definitely not Curry. He's 44%.
Oh, never mind. It's not. I would think it was better than like PG, like certain players that are actually 3-point shooters, and he's shooting better than them. But
I'm shooting better than PG. So yeah.
Will it last though?
Yeah, we'll see.
So you
Tune
can
in
hear
on
a
next
little bit more
episode.
about it. Other than that, but that is all we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. That is our Hoop Talk episode 5. We appreciate y'all for tuning in here.
4.
Episode 5.
5.
We missed last week, right?
That was 5 last
That
week.
was 4 last time.
Man. Yep. Episode 5.
Somebody hasn't been watching. If you are still watching, make sure you leave a basketball emoji to let us know you're still here. Share with all your friends and family. If you haven't subscribed already, man, you suck. So make sure you stop sucking and follow us. Subscribe. It's as simple as that, all right?
Stop sucking.
No Diddy.
Please.
No Diddy, but stop sucking.
Stop
all right?
it.
But that's all we have, ladies
right
and
after the
gentlemen.
kids segment is crazy.
We're out. Let's Hoop Talk next week.
For sure.